Starfleet boy. Live from Miami, Florida, it's Starfleet Boy After Dark. Now here's your host, Starfleet Boy.
That was like the best one because you were so far ahead. I loved it. Hello. What up, PJ?
I thought that it had started, and then it was like 5 seconds, and I was already talking for 10 seconds.
I think I forgot to send a link to someone. Oh, jeez, I always do that. What are you doing, my man? How's it going?
I'm good. Just got my second shot a few hours ago.
Oh, how does it feel?
Second shot of the vaccine.
You're on our show after your second jab. That's crazy.
Get vaccinated, people. This thing will never end.
I know, it's really depressing. It's getting depressing. I had to go get tested this week because I came into contact with someone who was positive, and so they were nice enough to inform me so that I can at least go get tested. And I have to say that was my first test in a while, and now they let you do it yourself, and it's pretty accurate still. So it was cool.
I see.
I mean, it wasn't cool. It's not actually cool. I don't want to go get tested constantly. I don't want to live in fear any longer. Please, everyone, consider getting vaccinated. It would help a lot of people, and it would help end this struggle we're all in together sooner. Wow, we really started off on a dour note. Someone even left. We lost. We lost an audience member. PJ, we didn't talk about. We're supposed to have Marcelo on. I'm not sure where he is. He's usually like the first one, so I'm a little worried about him. So I hope he's okay. But I want to talk about something that we both watched, which was What If. Ooh, your lighting changed. That was cool.
What if? What if what?
The show. What If?
Yeah. What if what?
What now?
So we're gonna talk about that right off the bat.
Yeah, I think we should just go right into it. Like, I mean, what else is? Oh, I guess you know what? No, actually, we could talk a little bit about STLV, which I'm having major FOMO for, and I wish I'd gone. I hope you'll come to Chicago. I know you said I think you said you're not coming, or you would come.
Me?
Or?
I'm not going to the United States.
It's in April. It's in April.
I can't afford that. Show everybody who
My
retweeted
tweet?
you today.
All right, I'll show it. Hold on, let me find this thing.
Shorey Agdashlu from The Expanse. Star Trek
and
Beyond.
Star Trek. She was in
24. The House of Fog or something. What's that movie she was in with Ben Kingsley?
Yeah, it was The House of Fog. Oh, it just as I opened it, like it counted up. It's got like 457. Well, it's Shorey. She has a huge account.
The House of Sand and Fog in 2003. That's the movie that got her like the Western acclaim.
I saw. Oh, I don't know why I did that. Wrong button. I saw that movie. She was really good in it. So is Ben Kingsley. I saw that movie in the theater. Gosh, it's been a long time. All right, here we go. Can you see that? Did it come up on the screen? Oh, I guess I have to zoom in.
Your response, hell yes, you like that one too.
Let me see here. Hold on. All right. I am having trouble because I'm using a different monitor. Here we go. All right. So I tweeted. So here we go. We have to go through the thing. So she tweeted, I've been to Las Vegas before, but I never had so much fun here. Looking forward to my second day at the con. See you later. It's cool that she, had like basically a small part in Star Trek Beyond, and she decided, hey, I'm going to go and meet these Star Trek fans because her character's pretty cool, Commodore Paris. And we all speculated that Commodore Paris might in some way be an ancestor of Tom Paris. They should make a Commodore Paris plate too. Cool. Anyways, so that was cool, and part of the STLV activities, which I noticed, by the way. Did you see the shields? There's like shields protecting all the actors, which is smart. I'm glad they're doing that, but that's interesting. Anyways, I wrote, "Come back to Star Trek. We love seeing you in our world too." And then there's a Expanse hashtag called Screaming Firehawk. So I put Screaming Enterprise just to see if it would get her attention, and it did, because she quote tweeted me and said, "Sure, I'd love to be in another Star Trek." And then I just got so excited that I had to give Alex Kurtzman on the official Star Trek account little peepee eyes, not peepee eyes, sorry, peeping eyes, and hearts, and who knows, maybe something was already in the works, or maybe now something will be. It would be cool. So that was a nice little moment. Thank you, PJ. Will you say the actor's name?
Shohreh Aghdashloo.
Thank you, Shohreh Aghdashloo. I needed your help. I couldn't say it on my own. But it'd be cool to get her on Strange New Worlds. That's what I saw that in the comments a lot. She could be Commodore Paris in Strange New Worlds. She could be like the what would you call it?
She could be a carryover from the Kelvin, like the same actor playing the prime version of that character.
Right, exactly.
Just the same actor.
Similar to how they do Mirror Universe stuff. It's the same actor, like Michelle Yeoh for the Mirror Universe, and Prime Giorgio as well, or whatever you want to call her. You know, my timeline is called the Prime Timeline. I love that line when she when she talks about the Mirror Universe. She goes, "You guys are the Mirror Universe for us." That was funny. Speaking of Mirror Universe, that's a wonderful lead-in back to What If, which takes place in the multiverse.
Yes, the Watcher, voiced by Jeffrey Wright, is like kind of
He's such a recognizable
the Rod
voice.
Sterling of the show. That introduces like the Nexus moment, I suppose, or like, yeah, this is where it all changed.
Is he gonna do that for every episode?
Yeah, he'll. I think the next one is it's about T'Challa being adopted by Yondu instead of Star-Lord. Instead of Quill.
So he'll be like, "This is the moment when Ego fucked another woman, and hence was."
I don't know if T'Challa's going to be.
Wouldn't he have to be
that.
Ego's son? No, not necessarily.
I think Peter Quill is still out there, but instead of Quill, it's but there was a specific reason. Yeah, there was a reason why.
Yeah, the reason why Quill gets picked up is because Ego was experimenting on all these. He was having sex with a lot of women or partners, not necessarily women. He was having sex. He said, "I spread my seed all across the galaxy," and Yondu's job was to go pick up these kids and bring them back to see if they were compatible with the planet, with Ego, so that he could have two powerful celestial, or whatever they're called. They're celestials, right? Like. And that's how he could create where every planet would become Ego. That was like his plan. But he could only do it if he had another like himself to do it. And sadly, he killed all the failed attempts, like the kids that didn't, have the celestial DNA. He killed them all. So that's why is it Yondu? Yondu, thank you. That's why Yondu actually, the real reason why Yondu never brought Quill was because he felt guilty that he was basically an accessory to child murder.
Shocking. It's gonna be interesting to see why it's T'Challa.
Right.
Because usually everything, the way they play the first episode is that things work out the same, and then there's like one little thing that's different that creates like a butterfly effect.
It'd be interesting if like T'Challa's mom didn't tell T'Challa's dad that like she, Ego doesn't have to look like what's his name?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell, thank you. Oh my gosh, I was having old brain. Ego doesn't always have to look like Kurt Russell. Maybe like do you remember in mythology how Zeus would appear to different lovers as like different things? Like sometimes, like for example, he appeared to Leda as a swan. I forget who else.
And she was into bestiality, I guess. So that was the reason for that.
Well, the
like,
power.
She's not going to do me as a guy, as a
Right.
As a man form. But she sure loves them swans, man. So
Wait,
I
and
wonder
then
if
there's
that'll work.
that. I think, unfortunately, sadly, Lita was raped, but it
Oh,
was like a
Jesus.
yeah, it wasn't like her intention, but yeah, for some reason, like he seduced her as a swan. There was another character I forget who was Ego is a lot like Zeus actually. I felt like he's that kind of despicable. He's a god, but he's like kind of got like these despicable qualities to him. And anyways, I could see him coming to maybe as a mythological being of the Wakandans, and not even having like physical making physical love, but somehow imbuing her child's DNA with his DNA to see if that would work, and it never, so there could be lots of these like children of ego on Earth, like Quill might not be the only one that he like messed. His mom might not be the only one that he messed with.
Cool.
I'm
What
like
did you
really
think?
into it.
What did you think of Captain Carter?
I loved Captain Carter. I thought it was. I knew from the teaser that we were gonna get Captain Carter, but like I didn't know how it was gonna play out, and it was kind of cool to watch a condensed version, like a somewhat reminder of Captain America, the First Avenger, but seeing it like different, like seeing it through like what if lens, if you will, or whatever, and it was neat to see that. But yeah, I love her as a character. I think she's awesome. She was like it was cool that they literally like I called it a redistribution or reversal of fortune, and so it turns out that Peggy's going to be the one that goes off into the future 80 years, and Steve is the one that actually gets old. And so like instead of so instead of an Agent Carter show in that mirror universe, everyone got a Steve Rogers show where he's like where he's but Peggy Carter, but Captain Carter's the main superhero, and the Avengers are totally different. I liked it. It was a trippy, cool, fun thing. What about you? What'd you think?
It was interesting to see her come through at the end where Loki would have been in Avengers. And I like picking out who did the actual voices. Like Samuel
Oh
Jackson, you could tell it's him.
it's
Jeremy
him.
Renner's in there.
Yep.
Haley Atwell.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic, whatever his name is, who does Tony Stark's, or Howard Stark.
Howard Stark. Yep.
It's a different guy doing Red
Steve
Skull.
Rogers, but he sounds just and Red Skull too, but it's the Red Skull from Endgame.
No.
No. That's what all the little video Easter eggy things I saw said.
What?
It's so in it's not Hugo Weaving. Hugo Weaving is Red Skull.
Oh, I know. It's the dude from The Walking Dead.
But but he also played Red Skull in Endgame, or the other one, whichever one.
Ross Marquand.
Yeah, that's him.
Red Skull. He does a lot of like really good impressions and stuff. But
Oh,
What
cool.
If has another voice actor doing?
Oh, I thought it
sounds
was Ross
just like him.
Marquand.
I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
it's not. It's a character. It's like I can't do it, but I suppose like a lot of
Hey,
people
can
would
you
do
hear me?
like the impression of
Yep.
Red Skull.
Okay.
What's his name? Let's see.
Hey, you're late.
Red
You're
Skull.
usually the first one here.
Yeah, this week it was my fault. I didn't refresh my browser as I was waiting for the invite link on
Gotcha.
on YouTube, so it's my fault. Totally my fault this week.
Oh, no worries. You're fine. So it's a different guy. We're talking about What If. Did you watch What If?
Yes, I did.
Oh shit! It is the same guy.
That's what I thought.
Why did well, okay, I guess I didn't realize what his name was. Because I saw him in the credits, I'm like, oh, it's not the same guy as Endgame. But apparently it is.
Parentheses I says, we are all children of ego. And Kevin's in the chat. Hey, Kevin, what's up? Kevin of 9, nice to see you. Did you hear any of the show, Marcelo, or were you just waiting in the...
No,
the
like
ways.
like an idiot. I always wait for you to send me the link, but like I said, it was totally my fault because I forgot to refresh my fucking browser. So
Oh, okay, okay.
I
Well, it's. I
never,
mean, you're not late. Like a wizard always arrives precisely
precisely
when
when
he
he means
means
to.
to.
There's a couple of things that are not that you didn't say that you're going to talk about in the little scrolly thing down there. But
Which is what.
there's two documentary type things. One's a documentary called Val on Prime Video, which is fucking amazing. It's about Val
Oh, cool.
Kilmer. I don't know if you know
I
what's
heard
going
it.
on with him.
N- no, something's going on. Yeah, he's got some kind
He's
of like
recovering from throat cancer,
throat
and
cancer. That's right. That's it.
all of the chemo has like destroyed his voice, and he has to speak with
Oh,
a he's a like a tracheotomy. He has to push a button or
The
whatever.
tracheotomy, right? Yeah.
And there's another J.J. Abrams Bad Robot produced documentary
UFO.
series that I was thoroughly impressed by, partly because there was a Netflix documentary series just the week before covering a
About the
lot of
same
the
thing.
same stuff that was like complete shit. Like what a piss poor attempt at a documentary this thing is on Netflix.
I'm glad I
But
didn't watch it. I have
the
a.
one the J.J. Abrams one is really really well done, and it's not it doesn't it doesn't cater to the fringe. You know, it doesn't try to make a believer out of anybody. You know what I
When I
mean?
saw her face. Um, you know
They're,
what?
they're real.
And that's on Hulu or something, or where do you see the J.J. Abrams thing? And have you seen it, Marcelo?
No, but PJ mentioned it to me this week, so I thank you for putting it back on my radar. But if I was not mistaken, it's on Showtime, right? Or
Showtime.
Okay, I might have
Showtime.
It's
to
on
get
Crave
Showtime for
here,
like.
but it's a Showtime on the beginning at the beginning.
There's a Netflix documentary that I want to pitch real quick since you're talking about documentaries. Cocaine Cowboys, check it out if you want to know about Miami. I'm not even joking; it's really good. If you want to know about what crazy shit was going on in Miami in the 70s and 80s and 90s, with like one of the largest drug cartels, basically. It affected every Miamian. Basically, I can't tell the story on the air, but I have a connection to the story. It's a crazy story, so check it out. And my friend Billy Corbin is the director, and he made a film like maybe 20 years ago that was originally called Cocaine Cowboys, and Netflix liked it so much they picked it up and made it into a 6-part series
My
documentary
dad
series.
recently got my Netflix, and that's one of the things he's watching. But he mentioned to me the other day, he's like, Jesus, man, that Netflix is all drug stuff. It's like drug shows, drug documentaries, drug movies. And now he's watching like Queen of the South.
I
Like,
don't even, I don't know that one, but wow, okay. Hey, Netflix is drugs, sex, and rock and roll.
Yeah,
It's a new
Queen of the
MTV.
South. Queen of the South was really good. I watched like the first 2 or 3 seasons, and then for some reason I just fell off of it. But it's pretty good for
did it go
basic.
south after
Sorry?
season three?
No, I just lost interest and I started watching other shit. So I don't know what the hell.
Does the J.J. Abrams UFO documentary interview that guy and the pilot? I think with the official footage that was released recently and all that
They go,
stuff.
yeah, they go through all that. Uh, they even take an opposite stance and get into how the UFO thing could be a conspiracy, like a man-made thing. Like they get into the idea of super secret human technologies and using the alien narrative to kind of cover that up, and that would explain the attitudes of why they don't want to investigate certain things. But then that's like almost debunked right away, and it's like there's some weird shit going on, man. And it's and I remember when my friends like 15 years ago we used to talk about like someday they're gonna reveal all this and everybody's gonna be like it's gonna change the world, and I'm like, they explain how it's been this UFO disclosure or whatever, it's been happening so gradually over such a long period of time that when it gets to a point where little fuckers actually come down and talk to us, we're literally gonna be a world where we just like, oh cool, Like, it's
And
not
that's
even
it.
going to be a
That's
thing.
the thing.
We're just
Yeah,
going to get to that
interesting.
point where we've been through the ringer with so many fucking weird fucking things just recently, that all this UFO stuff that's been coming out recently, like, basically the government has said, like, there are things out there that we don't know what they are, and we have no way of either explaining or possibly defending against them. And one of the main dudes on it, I forget his name, he's a big advocate of this because he looks at it as a national security issue that shouldn't be dismissed. That's why they renamed it UAPs, because the UFO acronym has such a stigma on it. But I mean, these things have been seen for not only this past century in World War One and Two and all this, but for millennia. I mean, Ancient Aliens is a show that really,
Yeah,
like,
like, I feel like
it's one of these shows, right? But
I
it
feel
actually
like
presents a certain number of, like, legit facts. It just tends to, like, want you to believe everything and exaggerates too many things for it to be completely credible.
I felt like I feel like when I was a kid, because of Star Trek and all the science fiction I watched, I was that person already that would have been like freaked out, but like in a calm way, like in a good way, like oh my gosh, I hope they're not like, those aliens from 4th of July, but more like friendly ones from Star Trek or whatever, like hopefully friendly ones. But a really good we talked about it I think like a year ago or longer ago on this show, but Arthur C. Clarke's Childhood's End. They made a really good adaptation. I think it's on Amazon. So check that out because it's literally about like first contact, but like not in a Star Trekky way. And the freaky thing about that is that the aliens literally look like Satan, like what our depictions of Satan, like Satan, like the devil and Satan is. So like that's what humans have to get over is like the fact that the aliens that are here to like help us literally look like the devil with horns coming out of their heads and bat wings and they're red. It's like really crazy stuff.
No, I think the perfectly sane people on the planet, they're going to be freaking out, but they're going to be freaking out in a way that all the crazy, insane people won't be able to tell. They'll be freaking out on the inside. They won't be outwards. They won't be showing their emotion on the outside. So, but I do think that you're right, PJ. When aliens do get here, we're gonna be like, "Oh,
Get
cool."
here? Get
And,
here?
They're already here.
When
Hollywood. No, I'm just
when
kidding.
yeah, when
It's an alien
when
cabal.
aliens finally show themselves, people like us who like Star Trek and other science fiction shows are gonna be like, "Oh, cool, alien."
I'm gonna be somewhat suspicious just because, but yeah, I'll be excited as well. It's like who knows? We'll see what we may never see it in our lifetimes. There's a lot of
My
scientific
personal
theories.
belief is that we're not even close to the point where they would be like, we're cool with you now enough to talk to you. I think it's still kind of this thing where it's like they're looking down. They might not be any more evolved mentally than most of us, but technologically, it's like these people can't deal with what we have yet.
Right.
Like they're just too fucked up as a society.
The preeminent scientists that I follow in astrophysics say that the more likely thing is that the distances between, like, the likely thing is that the universe is kind of growing up at the same time roughly, and so some people might be a little ahead of others, but no one, it's a dim and sad thing, but it's likely also that no one has achieved interstellar travel at this point, and so we're all just too far away from each other, and there's no alien zoom yet, or maybe Martian's here. That's an alien zoom. Today we're only seeing your eyes and your forehead. Every week the camera gets like higher and higher. There you go.
My computer moves around a lot.
I
I agree with everything you said, though.
Did you hear any of our?
I
No,
didn't hear it, but
he
I
wasn't
agree
listening.
with it. I agree with
That's
all
really
of
He
it.
funny.
never listens. Does he really listen?
Real quickly, PE parentheses eyes. The season finale of Bad Batch was today. I don't know if Marcelo kept following it, but I stopped following it. I have to catch up
I am-
on so many episodes of the Bad Batch. I'm
so
super
far
behind.
I'm,
I think Ruben might be caught up on Ted Lasso. Was that today? Are you all? Are
I
you all
didn't watch
caught?
today's episode, but yeah, I watched all the other
I'm gonna
episodes.
watch today's episode after I leave this
After this,
place.
okay. Okay, cool.
better
Don't leave
question
So
this yet.
good.
for
I
Ted
Ruben.
know,
Lasso.
Ted Lasso. I'm
are you
also
done?
behind on that show.
Are you done with For All Mankind yet?
I haven't even
No, my
started.
wife and
I
I
haven't
have
started
not,
yet.
we haven't watched an episode this week yet. So I'm still
Okay.
on episode 3 or 4.
Of what season?
Season
Which
1.
There's
Oh,
one
okay.
thing that show leaves out. It's an
What?
alternate history and everything, but they totally ignore or gloss over or don't even address the fact that astronauts see UAPs and have seen UAPs
Oh,
many, many times. But they never put that in movies and shows because it's like, oh, now we were getting into sci-fi shit. But it's like they do, and they just don't. It's like normal for them. It's normal for pilots and everything. It's just like
Well,
we're finding
military
out
pilots
nowadays that for years and years, people saw this shit, and it was just like, just don't talk about it.
Blue says, "You really think aliens are here?" I don't really think that. I just
I think
it's fun to-
you're an
it's
alien,
fun to-
Blue.
yeah, you might be an alien. Blue. What kind of name is Blue Spark? No, I'm just
It's like,
kidding. It's a
what
nice
human name will satisfy Blue Spark?
I've seen lights that I can't explain. Granted, I may have had a couple of whiskeys, or a few too many beers or Chardonnays when I was looking at those lights. But I think we all we're in that generation that grew up with like unsolved mysteries and like just open to the idea, if you will.
I've never had a paranormal or supernatural experience of any kind in my entire life.
Have
People
the
have
hairs
claimed,
on your neck
people have
ever
claimed to have
stood up?
had them, and I was like, even though they might be true, I just can't believe that shit. And anytime anybody tells me something like fucked up or weird in the sky, or the lights turned on and off, or the presence of this, like entities and all, I'm like, that's never I've never witnessed it, so it's hard to believe. But I can believe in the the fact that there's shit flying around out there, moving in a way that we don't know, and nobody seems to know what's up.
This is funny. Maybe some of the aliens are at STLV right now, and people are complimenting them on their cosplay, not knowing that they're real. Very meta. That's very Galaxy Quest.
There's a movie that does that kind of joke.
Galaxy
Where they
Quest.
take like an alien to a convention.
Oh, I don't know about
Paul?
like that deep. Is it Paul?
Doesn't Paul do that?
yeah.
That's
yeah,
funny. I
with
wanted to
Seth
see Paul. I never
Rogen,
saw Paul.
Yeah, Paul's really funny.
Well, we always get deep. We go way off track whenever we talk about aliens. It's so funny. Ruben, did you see What If?
No.
Ah,
Why would you ask him such a silly question?
because he likes comic books. Like, he likes comic books. There's a chance.
Why?
Is
I
there-
love What If comic books are some of my favorites too.
This show's based on
Oh.
a series of comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Captain Carter thing's already happened in the comics. I thought this was like.
Oh, I
new.
don't know which stories there using. There were tons of them. But
Well,
there was
so
a whole What
episode
If
one-
series where they basically
Oh.
alternate timeline. What if one of my favorites was What If the X-Men died on their first mission?
What if
that'd
the
have been-
Fantastic Four didn't get their gnarly powers
Yeah.
or something?
So there were all sorts of, and Uatu is the narrator sort of the whole thing.
Yeah, that's that's basically the show. So you've read the comics, so you know the show. That's cool that they are. I didn't realize they're
That's
adapting
cool.
an
No, I
actual
saw
series.
clips. The animations looks nice.
Some people think the animation seems meh.
Yeah, like when you look at it in the trailers, it has that's what is it, cell shading, I guess they call it, animation, where it looks like drawings, but it's 3D. And I was like, this is not going to look very good for the show. And once you watch the episode, the thing about the way the show is structured, it's basically a 2-hour movie shrunken down to a half an hour. It's like they try to fit a whole movie, and so everything goes by
They
so
literally
quick.
did, yeah.
Like it doesn't matter that when they're speaking it looks like crap. It really, that's the worst part of the show, is that the facial expressions and the mouth movements look like that old Spider-Man CG animated show from like 20 years
MTV.
ago.
The
Yeah,
one on
the
MTV.
MTV
Oh, that's
one.
funny.
Yeah, I was thinking about
But
that
in
one
terms
the
of
other day.
action and like the way it looked, like just the style of it and the production visuals, it looks fucking amazing. It's just the face and mouth animation is just lacking.
Yeah.
We were talking about the voice actors. A lot of them returned. Chris Evans did not return as Steve Rogers.
And you know, why would he? It's like they get a lot of people. You look at the cast list; they get a lot of.
I'm
actual
actually surprised that
real
Disney,
actors.
and I'm serious about this, that Disney doesn't have, I mean, I don't know what they would call it, but like deep fake technology, because they have voice technology that can mimic voices now. So I'm
Yeah, but
surprised
you
that
would
they
ha-
just,
Yeah, but do you realize
there could be a legal
Do
reason
you
why
realize a
you
lawsuit
can't
Well, yeah, I mean, you
replicate
signed
Robert
it.
Downey
Yeah.
Jr.'s
Yeah.
voice. You would have to pay him something, but
right. You just
they
pay
have
them
it.
whatever
They have a
royalties.
Robert Downey Jr. sound alike for this show, and it's like they don't have to pay him a goddamn cent.
That works better.
It's like Crispin Glover when his likeness
Oh,
was
nice.
used in Back to the Future 2. He could sue them because they actually made the actor up to look like him as an as his
Oh,
own
yeah.
person. But like to have a sound like replace you, like when the genie. There's a guy who replaced the genie in the Aladdin sequel and the TV show because Robin Williams didn't want to work with Disney anymore. And it's like the
It
guy
was
kind of
Tobin
sounded. He
Phillips.
fooled me for a bit. I thought he was Robin Williams at first, but like, oh wait, that's not him.
Yeah,
What were you saying, Ruben? What'd you say?
The actor's name was Tobin Phillips. That filled in
Ah.
for
Robin Williams, Tobin.
I'm sure that may
Phillips?
be true. That you didn't just make that up.
Did you make that up?
Not at all. No, of course not.
Sounds like you made it up. Look, this is Captain Carter. This is the super serum. Instead of being injected into Steve, gets injected into Peggy, and she becomes basically the first Avenger.
So they only released one episode, right? So
Yeah,
like
one
just
episode,
one a
yeah.
week or whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I thought that like I kind of know what you're talking about with the weirdness with the voice and the mouth like animation, but I thought that the overall animation reminded me of like those rotoscoped animated like cartoons. Like it felt like they were like very. But yeah, I see what you mean. It's like 3D turned into 2D. Marcelo, did you see it? I didn't ask you yet.
Yeah, I woke up at 3:00 in the morning to see it my time, and
Oh, you were that excited about whatever. You didn't want spoilers and stuff, so you just like.
no, I was kind of just practicing for Lower Decks. It was like a dry
Oh,
run,
nice. I got you. That's so funny.
and it was fine. I wasn't really like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever, but I'm excited to see where the series goes. And you know, it was fine. Like the animation really didn't bother me. I liked the different twists that the story took, and I liked the way that it kind of did a remix on Captain America: The First Avenger. I think it was well worth the watch, but I'm not going crazy over it like I am Lower Decks. But that's,
I wanted to see that dance between Steve and Peggy Carter.
Peggy,
And like Steve runs toward her like the girl at the end of Dirty Dancing, and she lifts him up, and it's like I had the time, you know, because she's huge, and like she's still interested in little tiny Steve. I'm like, this is odd. I wonder how that would work out.
I mean,
It's like
It
those
is
new,
interesting. Yeah,
it's like a new subcategory of erotica on the internet that they have, where it's like large
Yeah,
muscular woman and like small
Yeah.
man.
yeah, if they
Amazon
actually-
with
And like she lifts him up and stuff, and like spins him around on her fucking finger.
Yeah, if they actually did something together, I think she would have to control herself, or she would break that motherfucker.
similar to
how a Superman or a man like Captain America or Superman or any kind of superpowered being,
Yeah,
when they make
that's
love to their partner, I mean, they gotta be careful.
wow.
Yeah,
It's gonna break some pelvis.
She just like Steve Rogers when she took the super serum. What is it called again? Is it called that super serum?
It's called Super Serum 44.
number
I don't know.
44.
Is there a
Super-
name on
new,
it? I
new
don't-
Coke.
New Coke, new super serum. Anyways, when she takes the super serum, she bulks up. She gets like she gets taller.
She becomes bigger than Steve Rogers would have.
No.
Did you notice
Yeah.
that?
Oh yeah. That's right. Because she's already tall. Because Steve was already little. That's right.
She grows
Yeah.
an inch and a half clit too.
And
Oh my
well,
God,
yeah,
Ruben.
true that. But she
I don't
After Dark.
I
people,
asked
After
myself
Dark.
before
Yeah,
I
it is.
made that joke: is
Yeah.
this Starfleet Boy After
Okay.
Dark, or is this
Yes, you're totally
the
fine.
TOS
I'm
show?
not gonna. You're totally fine. I was just surprised. That was not like dismissing it as bad. It was just, oh wow, we went there. Of course, yes. So she's bigger and more. She has more prowess in every way, as Ruben just.
Well, people were like, "Oh, not." I heard some complaints out there. It's like, "Oh, you made her stronger than Captain America."
Who cares?
Yeah, because
That's
she was bigger when she was transformed.
Yeah,
Like,
she was already. Yeah.
she was literally stronger than Steve was in regular form anyway. So would she not be a little bit stronger in the jacked up form? And what do you think?
Who
Her
cares?
estrogen's
Like,
gonna impede
It's
her
a fucking
abilities or something?
alternate- It's an alternate universe. Like, who cares?
And it's a
Yeah, that
cartoon,
too.
get
Physics could be
alive.
different. Biology could be different. There's so many. Yeah, it's just who cares? Oh my god.
And I
people
think
are
she's
upset
hotter
about the
this way
latest thing.
anyway. Mm.
She is very
Oh,
hot.
we spent so much time playing.
Baby.
PE says I love the what I loved that what if I love the what if comics as a kid. They took the comic book lore that we're all familiar with and gave the writers complete freedom to create whatever they wanted. That's pretty cool. I should
Can I read the
some
next
of
one?
those. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
This week had What If, Lower Decks, and Bad Batch all come out, all animation. I had to come to terms with the fact that I'm excited about cartoons now.
It's so easy to do animation during this difficult time in filming, and I think that's why animation's having like a bigger
Renaissance,
renaissance, if you will.
as the Dutch say, Renaissance.
Renaissance.
Mhm.
But I like that there's a variety of like
The
what
hell
if.
just happened?
Oh, I just moved Ruben because whenever I put a comment up, it blocked Ruben. So I'd rather it blocks me. So I didn't want him
Why?
to feel.
What?
Huh?
Wouldn't it make more sense to block me because I'm not on camera right now?
Oh, you're not on camera. You were just a second ago. I'm not. Okay, there you,
You know,
go. Now
I'm
you're.
here. I'm expendable. You can block my
You're
face.
not
Don't give a shit about me.
Everybody wants to be blocked.
No. Oh my goodness.
I'm
But
always fucking late, so.
but I love that Bucky was in. No, you're not always late. You're
To be
always
late
right.
on Starfleet Boy After Dark
like-
is like to
like
be late for
normal.
nothing. No, I'm
Yes.
joking. I don't mean it
Like-
like that.
No, I
I didn't mean it
literally
like nothing. I
agree.
mean like
Yeah.
there's no
Like,
set
Like
time.
there's no set
Yeah.
time. Like
Yeah, but the thing is, I had this bit, and now because I was late, I won't be able to do the bit until next week.
oh yeah,
I-
that we're
I did
Go
the
ahead.
intro. I was like live.
yeah. PJ did
From-
it.
You are in Miami, Florida, right? Was I right?
Yeah.
Did I fuck
No,
that
that's
up?
right. My good
I
old
didn't know
Miami,
if you were in
Florida.
England or not.
Uh, I wish I were in England. That'd be awesome.
Jolly
But
good.
no. Jolly good.
Jolly
Yes,
good.
Wanka. Bucky's in it, and he doesn't have the same fate that he did. Right? Doesn't he fall off the thing?
And he's saved this
The
time.
train.
Yeah,
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 same
yeah,
as
falls
the-
off the train, yeah.
Steve apparently sacrifices himself or whatever. I like how Red Skull goes out. That was pretty funny. He's like, "Oh, it's the beast" or whatever, and it's like, "Ah!" It's like, what'd you expect to happen? It's just like Lex Luthor with Doomsday. It's like, what the fuck did you expect to happen, moron? That you create this monster and you're gonna stand in front of it and it's not gonna try to kill you immediately.
Another cool turn of events is because Steve. By the way, Steve doesn't get the super serum because
He gets
since
shot.
Peggy he gets shot, so he gets injured, and so that's why someone has to do something because the reaction can only take place once apparently, or it's very critical, and the machinery is about to get destroyed,
Right.
and so she volunteers to do it, but later on, Stark makes it up to him so that he's not out of the fight, and creates this like basically Iron Man suit for him. So
What
he
was it
becomes
called?
the Tank
It was-
Buster, right? Was it the Tank Buster or Tank
Hydra Buster.
Hydra Buster? Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
but
like
then-
cool.
yeah, but didn't like Steve like eventually put a name on it? I think he called it Brooklyn at one point. He put
Oh,
like
Brooklyn sun.
yeah, put like little in like he used like spray paint.
And here's a picture of it from the
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Hulk Buster. But
The
Yeah.
Hulk Buster,
Yeah,
yeah,
this
like
is called, the Hydra Stomper.
Hydra Stomper, yeah,
Or
that thing.
whatever.
the Romper Stomper.
But yeah, he writes something on it. You're right. Like, I think he writes Brooklyn on one arm and
Oh, I
Freedom
thought
on
he
the
wrote
other.
the bitches back.
The bitches. That would have been.
Cry
I didn't
freedom!
expect it. That was the one part of the episode that was like a nice little surprise that I didn't catch on to in the trailers, I guess, that there was going to be like a proto Iron Man in the episode as well.
And it made
And then-
sense the way they
And,
did
and,
it and
and that
everything.
Steve Rogers ended up being the first Iron Man by default.
Yeah,
or,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Did anybody notice who did the voice of the fucking asshole general who was giving Peggy such bullshit
Oh, it was
for
Gilbert
taking...
Godfrey, right?
No.
What? No.
Anybody?
I
who
think
was it?
it's the guy from.
It sounded
No,
familiar.
I know. I'm just asking to see how intelligent the panel is.
Oh wow.
Rogers.
Well, give me a chance to look it up on the internet first.
Yeah. Here.
No,
look.
I don't want you to do that.
Well, too bad it's
I did
happening.
recognize him. He sounded like the dude from A Handmaid's Tale. I forget the actor's name.
You want me to tell you? You don't even have to look it up.
I'm gonna see if I can spot him in the cast list.
I was gonna look it up too, but I'm gonna put this cool image of the Hydra Buster up to show you like a little close up of it. It's pretty cool. So he's powered by the
Strange.
Those are
Tesseract.
pretty cool.
He's powered by the Tesseract, and he gets captured by Hydra, and they steal the Tesseract, and they start opening the portal. And this crazy thing, what was it called, PJ or Marcelo? What was that thing? The tentacle thing comes out, the tentacle beast.
Yeah. It looks like a. It looks like calamari, like Bucky called it. Hey,
Calamari.
order the calamari.
Yeah, it did look like
Yeah.
It
calamari.
just looked like an
But-
octopus
you
monster.
know, but basically it's a giant squid thing that comes out.
I just wanted to be among the stars.
I know it's PJ. Did you give up yet?
Poor
I'm still
Star.
trying to find. I can't find the general in the cast list thing.
Hashtag justice for Starro.
Justice for
Um,
Starro. Oh, here I have a picture of this thing here. All right, so you can see this thing. I love the internet. I'm looking for pictures. PJ's looking for actors. Marcelo's.
Oh,
Trying
Daryl
to s-
Hammond.
Who's that? Who is that?
Is
From
that the Nazi
SNL?
general? No.
No. I thought it was
Oh, you know, the good guy general. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah. The guy who was being shoving his dick to Peggy, telling her that she didn't have the right to be.
Oh,
because
that guy, yeah.
She was a fucking woman. Like
Mm.
All right.
I'm gonna
Well, he
interview
was-
the
I like that-
composer of Ted Lasso soon.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
What's that?
I'm interviewing the composer of Ted Lasso soon.
Oh wow, you and these
Awesome.
composers. You get a lot of composers.
Yeah, man.
There.
I'm just destined to be tied with music somehow.
I love
Okay,
it.
what's his
That's
name?
great.
I give up.
It's Bradley
you say?
Whitford.
Bradley Whitford.
Yeah, from The West Wing.
From the West
Up.
Wing.
Oh,
I can't
that
tell. This is-
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that
okay.
guy. Yeah, Bradley Whitford. Yeah.
This might be.
Funny enough, he's not listed in the.
No, in the IMDb.
No, in the yeah. Okay, never mind. John Flynn. Okay, never mind. I was looking at the wrong. He played John Flynn. I was typing in general. But yeah,
Yeah.
John Flynn.
But
That's a
he.
really
But
good
I know he.
He has
I
the
kn-
he is the guy I was thinking of who was from The Handmaid's Tale. He's
Oh, he's on The
because I
Handmaid's
recognize
Tale?
that he plays a guy who plays like both sides of the fence on that show, and he's like very sly, and his voice is always like he's got kind of like sarcastic way. He's always sounds sarcastic in everything he's in. But yeah, good
Blue
actor.
says this artwork is so beautiful, and it's true. I think it is beautiful.
it's beautiful.
animation.
It's true.
This does look like a pre-animation, like one of those like pretty like concept art things that they would do back in the day for Disney and stuff like that. It is gorgeous looking animation. But what I liked is that Captain Carter has a sword, which is pretty cool. That's her thing. Like she's gonna have that sword. It's very like British and Arthurian legend.
Is it the
it
sword
even
of
looks like
Damocles?
It's Excalibur, man. It's got to be Excalibur. It's the sword that was she draws it out like similar to how Arthur gets the sword of power when he needs it. It's pretty cool. I like that it's like a new take on Arthurian legend in a weird way. And anyway, she gets sucked into. She has to force this thing back into the dimension from which it came from, and she gets pushed into it. And there's this beautiful moment where Steve's like, "No, you owe me that. You owe me that dance." And she's like, "Go claim your land, Joseph. Claim your land." And then that got me.
Wait a minute. Isn't that from like Far Away?
Yeah, that's from Far and Away. Yeah.
Yeah, with
PE is
Tom Cruise
correct.
and Nicole Kidman.
I don't think I'll ever watch that movie. I tell you, I'd never watch it my whole life.
Ruben, were you saying PE is correct? Captain Carter is basically Captain Britain, but with a different name.
Captain Britain was the leader of the Excalibur team. It was a team British superhero team. Nightcrawler.
Oh, literally
from
the Excalibur team. Like
Nightcrawler from the X-Men was a member of Excalibur for a short time.
Mm-hmm.
They had a bunch of interesting. I think there was like a character like Morgana, like
Morgana.
If you
So
want
it
him,
actually
come and
has like
claim him.
I think it has. Does it? I'm sure. It
Yeah,
has to
he
have,
wears kind of like the Union Jack.
Yeah. The Union
If you
flag.
want him, come
It's
and
only the
claim
Union
him.
Jack when you're out at sea. By the way, just FYI.
I'm at sea right now.
You are okay. So
Damn,
it's
I
the Union.
couldn't keep a straight face. I just started being like, "Yeah, I'm at sea right now."
But
So was anybody else here severely psychologically damaged by the feminist agenda going on here? Obviously, to subvert all men and say that women are better, and have every show kick a man in the nuts constantly to bring him down.
I already feel.
I'm joking, by the way.
We know.
Disclaimer.
I feel 7% less masculine just looking at these pictures, but I kind of like it.
Yes, I'm getting shrinkage at the moment.
But I like it. You know?
Oh, Ruben's growing and you're shrinking. Interesting.
Come
That's
on.
interesting.
Come on.
It sounds like a good. It sounds like a good show.
I mean, that's just a beautiful image. Like her with the sword there. It's pretty cool. She's pretty
Disney's
cool.
gonna shut you down, man. You've shown too much.
No, they're not.
Disney's
No.
like, it's like we did not give Scarlett what she wanted,
Not after I prepaid.
and we will not give you what you want. We will take down your video.
Not after I prepaid to stay in the Star Wars hotel, which costs like an insane amount of money per person to stay. No, I have not prepaid. That's a joke, but I would if Disney had a prepaid situation for it. Sorry, Marcelo, what were you trying to say?
No, I was. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
So,
Yes, no.
so
maybe
yeah,
so.
so
Is
so
your
I
masculinity
know-
hurt by Captain Carter?
No, not really. I mean, my balls are too fucking small to kick anyway, so I just
Oh my
kind of like
gosh.
just put them on the inside of my body and just squeeze really hard. And sorry, that joke kind of went nowhere. No, but I'm curious. So you love the first episode of Lower Decks.
Fuck yeah.
I was on the same length as PJ and Ruben. I don't give a shit what you say because you probably don't care.
Wow.
Um,
Did you watch Lower Decks, Ruben? No.
no.
The music's
Um,
beautiful. You'll probably end up interviewing the composer.
So-
Like it's
So I'll listen to the soundtrack eventually.
So, as you know, Starfleet Wise, I stayed up until 3 a.m. to watch Lower Decks. And I don't know if it was just the fact that it was 3 a.m., but the first time I watched the episode, it really felt kind of flat for me. Like PJ, I really didn't give a shit about the Tendi and Rutherford
Rutherford.
storyline. I thought that Tendi was being like a jealous girlfriend to the point of like, come on, get over yourself, you know. And I loved everything with everything with Ransom, making Mariner and Captain Freeman recognize that they can't, basically run a starship together. But I thought the start of the season was very promising, but I was expecting just a little bit more.
Do you have to leave early or something?
What, me?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay, good.
I just-
make sure.
I
Just
just-
make sure
I-
because
Why'd you
well, no,
ask
because
that?
you.
No,
I
no,
was
no,
asking
I-
'cause-
after you said
we're-
that, you were like,
Because
maybe
we were
you should
talking
think
about
leaving
Captain
early.
Carter, and he's like lower decks. I don't want to talk about Captain Carter
No,
anymore.
no, no.
My balls are tiny and lower
I thought we
decks.
just
No,
moved
no,
on to
no.
lower decks.
No, I know.
No,
I'm
no,
just,
I-
can I just get one more thing in about Captain Carter? Can I just on the
Okay.
and then we'll go to
Let's separate these well so we can do the timestamps.
Yeah, it's true. It's a good idea. All right, this is the last thing for Okay, one last thing, and I'll read this comment. So, PE says the diminished male ego was compensated by giving Steve Rogers a proto Iron Man suit to use. I kind of think that's legit. Like, he's gigantic. Like, so that's an interesting concept, PE. Thanks for bringing that up. Okay, now
Yeah, Peggy sees him in a suit. She's like, now I like this. Now I'm turned on. But you know what? Steve, like that was the best part. Like I didn't expect there to be anything with Steve. I thought he was gonna die at the beginning. I thought like, oh well, he's gonna die, and now, but he stayed alive and still played a part, and then like they didn't leave him out, and yeah, it was good.
Okay, Marcelo, sorry. Now
It's
we
good
can go
stuff.
back to Lower Decks. I just had to get that.
So we done with What If now? We're not allowed to
Yeah,
talk
we
about
can be done. Except I'm just saying I'm probably not going to enjoy the zombie episode because in general zombies creep me out too much. So I probably won't.
When does that
And-
come?
Are they gonna do like a Marvel? It'd be interesting because they had a whole series called Marvel Zombies.
Yeah, I can't deal with zombies.
I'm
That's why I can't watch
surprised.
the Walking Dead. I had a tough time watching 20 hours, 29
28
hours.
days later.
28 days later.
28 weeks later is a movie that I can't watch again. There's stuff in that movie I won't get into.
I saw that. and
really
I can't
fucking
remember.
grosses me out,
It was,
dude.
yeah, messed me out.
And
Yeah,
really
messed me
messes
up.
like is actually there's one scene where one dude is in the room with his wife or ex-wife or something, and something happens and there's eye violence involved, and it's really fucking horrific.
Ooh.
And it goes on. It's like one of these things where like they drag certain things out to make you really uncomfortable. 28 Days Later, I think, is the better movie, even though when you watch it now, it looks so.
It looks terrible.
It looks terrible because
The digital, yeah.
when I saw it in theaters, I didn't know it was like that, and I thought there was something wrong with the projector, and I was like, oh no, this is like some kind of digital shit, experimental stuff. So I don't know how long ago this was, but it was way back when nobody was filming in digital.
Yeah.
And this was not only this wasn't even a digital movie camera. This was just like a high-end digital camcorder for the time, blown up on a big screen, and it looked But it's a good movie though. That's the thing. Like somehow the grainy quality and the pixely quality of that movie adds to the uncomfortable fucking like horror elements of it. I don't know if anybody remembers 28 Days Later, but
I
that's
was
Actually,
like,
that's a
really
I
good
saw
movie.
it in the theater, and I think I blocked it out.
I
because
watched
like,
it, I think, like 3 days ago on HBO Max.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I love it, but I wanted to see it again because I remember when it came out, it was a big thing that it was like an early all digital movie.
the first true running zombie movie. It was the first time zombies like ran at you like really fast. I was like, oh my god, it's fucking scary as shit. And
This freaks
28
me.
weeks later, it has some fucking really good zombie running stuff. But
This is
again,
so
like
scary
28
to
weeks
me.
later is really hardcore, man.
No,
Is that next week's?
I have no idea what next week's is. I think it's
No,
T'Challa.
next week's
yeah.
is T'Challa.
I'm
Like,
surprised
it's gonna
they
be-
wouldn't use the whole Marvel zombie. Well, actually, they did say they might do spin-offs of some of the what ifs. And Marvel Zombies would make sense because there's a whole fuck ton of Marvel Zombies.
There's
They
no
could do-
confirmation, but characters from this season may show up in Multiverse of Madness. They're speculating that one variant of some sort, like maybe Captain Carter may be there or something. Or like have a
I think
cameo.
so,
But
yeah.
they're saying that this animated shit is canon in terms of like, you know, the multiverse. They get everything from Star Trek, by the way. All the stuff that Marvel's doing
It's-
is
Well,
so
Kevin Feige's a huge
Star
Star
Trek
Trek fan.
influenced, and
Yeah,
it wouldn't
it's
be as
true.
successful as it is now, and as appeal. You talk about Alex Kurtzman wanting to take Star Trek or the concept of Trek and like that kind of weird sci-fi shit and make it mainstream. Kevin Feige already did it. The Russo brothers like took it a step further, like huge Star Trek fans. and they got all their endgame fucking ideas from, Trek.
From Star Trek. No, it's kind of true. Are you laughing because it's true, or
No, I just thought it was something really funny, but I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to.
What? No, you
Enjoy-
can't do that. You can't be like,
No,
I was
I-
going to say something, but I'm not
I
now
am-
because.
No. Wait.
Okay.
I just want to take a minute and bask in the glory of Alice Kurtzman being mentioned in a semi-positive light.
Oh, in a semi-positive light.
that's awesome.
Well, he hasn't done it. Well, 5 shows. He's getting there, but I don't know about popular.
Ruben's
He
the only
literally
person
wants.
on this
He
panel, I
literally
think, that-
wants the Star Trek franchise, and he said this. He wants the Trek franchise to be like the Marvel in a sense, where you could have. He wants to get to a point, and doesn't have control over the movies yet, but he wants that. Trust me.
No, but I
Where
think
there's synergy between movies and TV shows, and it's all connected, and you could do crossovers. Like there is going to be a point in the Trek fucking thing where they're going to have some kind of special where they're going to cross as many things over as possible in some
look,
convoluted way, I guess.
Take what I say with a grain of salt because y'all know how much I adore Alex Kurtzman, but I think he might get to that point of synergy to where he controls the TV and the Paramount films, but I think that he has a long way to go. And like he's said in various statements, this is just the beginning of what he wants to do. So I hope he does it, but again, take that with a grain of salt because I'm such a supporter of his, and I'm not like Ruben. So
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think the only
Yeah.
person here who has like a vehement dislike for Alex Kurtzman is perhaps Ruben.
I tell you right now,
until
I
Alex
don't
Kurtzman
like
agrees to be interviewed.
I don't
and
like
then
the
he'll
fact
be like,
that
"Oh, I love you." No, I'm just kidding.
I don't like the fact that Alex Kurtzman said stuff like, Star Trek needs a bit of Star Wars in it and stuff like that. Like, him and JJ talked about like, they taught it's. I know they don't mean anything by it probably, but like this whole attitude of like the way Star Trek is it's not going to appeal to a lot of people. So we need to. It's almost like they're saying we need to dumb it down to have it appeal to a broader. And Lower Decks is a perfect show to do that. I'm not even
No, I
complaining
think-
about that being a thing. It's like you can have shows like Lower Decks where anybody can watch that. I know people who don't even care about Trek watch that show, and I don't see that with Discovery or Picard or anything like that. It's with Lower Decks, but you
I
can
think
also
they
have
don't
the show
mean-
that's for the thinking person, and that like really goes over the heads of like a lot of quote unquote normies. I would love a show like that, and I'm not talking
think-
about the Discovery way of storytelling, where it's so up your own ass about its own concepts that you're meant to be confused and meant to not get it, but really, in fact, nothing ever makes sense. Like the burn and the paradox with the Red Angel bullshit and the mother going, with the Red Angel suit and all that stuff. Still a good show that I enjoy because I love the characters, but then man, the fucking story arcs and those huge story arcs they try to do that. They try to make it so big that you can't, you dare not question it. You know what I mean? That kind of fucking attitude.
PE says Alex Kurtzman and Rick Berman should have a wrestling match at STLV to determine which one is the best ruler of the Star Trek franchise.
I hope Alex takes his fucking head off.
I think Alex Kurtzman is trying to do what I think they've been trying to do for a long time for Star Trek, which is not necessarily dumb it down, but broaden its appeal.
No,
but that's the consequence of broadening the appeal of something. If something's niche and made for a particular group of people, like for example, like the original series, an original Trek was usually a lot of well-educated like people understood what it was trying to do, and people who just kind of glanced at it and didn't really pay much attention, kind of like, oh, that seems stupid, and they just didn't even think about it. But now it's like we have to make it so it's like Star Wars in the way where it's cute and cuddly and not as cerebral, because what have they complained about in the last like few years? Oh, we can't do this Star Trek show or this Star Trek movie because it's too cerebral. It's going to require the audience to think too much. I hate that kind of approach to it. And you can have both. You can have the fun Prodigy Lower Deck stuff, but you can also have like the really serious stuff for like at least the old school fans who want something really like intellectual and like really great storytelling that doesn't make you like tear your fucking brains out.
Yeah.
I'm
I think
complaining too
to
much,
be
but yeah, go ahead.
No, I
to,
think
well, I just want to say that like doing this rewatch of TOS, like I think TNG's the more cerebral show. And in talking to a lot of older folks, I work with a lot of older folks, and I always ask them like, "Did you watch Star Trek? Which Star Trek did you watch?" And like most of the people that are of the age of like when Star Trek would have come out in the 60s, most of them tell me, "Oh, we would never have watched that show. It was for like." It was really out there and no one really like understood it. And so I think that like it had less of a mass appeal. It had more of a mass appeal than it should have perhaps, but it had a small audience that like just was a very powerful audience. And I think that's what happened is that like they were seeing like, well, Star Trek is so good, like it has such a good message, it's such a good show, like it's worth tweaking it to make it more popular so that we could keep it going. And that's kind of like I feel like what Harv Bennett was trying to do with the films, and like they were a success. Like the films condensing Star Trek into 2 hour action packed, like blockbusters was a good move because it created a different understanding of Star Trek, and it was almost like that was almost the first thing that kind of like you could almost call that the first reimagining of Star Trek. Sure, it wasn't sure, looking at it in hindsight, maybe not everyone agrees that it's reimagining, but if you compare the film era, the only reason the film era works and the only reason Star Trek ever works when you reimagine it is if you move forward in the timeline, because people can accept like that things change dramatically in the next iteration, in the next generation, if you will. And that's why I think TNG and all the shows of that era mostly worked, because again, it was a radical reimagining of Star Trek. I think that was the most TNG specifically in my mind was the most cerebral Star Trek that ever was like it was way more cerebral than TOS from what I'm seeing so far. TOS is more fun and like kind of like action packed than TNG ever was. So that's just my opinion, though.
Well, moving forward in the timeline is always the way to go. Like for the reason you said, that it just seems like a natural progression. Like you go from the show, and then you get 10 years later, you have the movie. So, as a person at that time, I mean, you're watching reruns and everything, but that so much time has passed, even though very little time has passed in the actual story between the show and the movie.
Right.
But you can imagine, like, okay, well, they talk about the Enterprise being all redid and fucking like renovated and shit, so you can accept all that stuff. And then TNG, everything moving forward. And I think do the prequels or the ones like 2380, 2383, like with Prodigy and Lower Decks in animated form. And my belief was anything live action, just move forward past Nemesis. And don't worry about having to advance the technology too much. You can accept a 50 to 60 year period where technology is pretty much the same. Like how many holographic fucking screens do you need in every shot? Like really, like it was so much simpler in the 90s the way they handled the future look, because none of this like transparent shit was popping up in front of your face to fancy up the production value of it, basically.
And what Lower Decks gets right, and it's something I've heard Ruben say a bunch of times, is that they really do treat the show like a period piece, in the sense that like they take a lot of care in making sure that the look and feel fits the time, because Lower Decks is technically a prequel to Picard, right? Like, and a sequel to Nemesis. So like it fits nicely visually. It like fits really nicely into what your idea might be of that era. Marcelo, you were trying to say something about this.
No, I just wanted to. Well, I'm not gonna say that because you guys say it every week. I shouldn't apologize for it. But what I am going to say is I think that this era of Star Trek, led by Alex Kurtzman, they've done something really interesting. They have given Star Trek fans something that they've never had before, at least in my lifetime. Now we have different flavors of Star Trek for everybody. So I really, really appreciate that. And I do think, I mean, for me, TOS was really cerebral, and so some of the concepts that they were floating in TOS, I couldn't even get my head I can't even get my head around. So With that being said, TNG is my favorite because it is cerebral, but it's the kind of cerebral that I can understand, and that is at my level. So that's something that I really appreciate.
That's cool. I think a lot of why TOS seems so outlandish or hard to put your head around, in my opinion, and maybe this is wrong. Maybe you can expound on why you think that. But for me, it's just that like a space amoeba is something that like that's just wild. It's like a crazy concept. Like I mean, like it'd be amazing if we actually saw one, or you know. So I think it's more on the camp side, and it's more on the like sensational side. And TNG's more like they go from space amoeba to like space whale baby or whatever, you know, like or
the
you know,
limits.
it's like
The limits of the technology and the production at the time too created that effect. I mean,
yeah.
it was good and advanced looking for the time. Like if you were back in the 60s and Star Trek came out, especially if you watched colored TV, you're just like,
Right.
wow, this show looks really like high end and you know, ahead of its time almost if you really thought about it. But like me being exposed to TNG, and a lot of us were exposed to the 90s stuff at first, I think. Maybe not Ruben.
No, definitely not.
Or Starfleet Boy. Maybe you guys are a bit older. Maybe was TOS
We're
your
not
first?
as old. No, TOS was my first, but only because it was in syndication. I didn't see it when
Yeah,
it
it was in
originally
reruns
aired.
all the
Yeah.
time. So
It was always
So-
on reruns. So,
So
yeah,
for me to
that's
watch TNG and then see Undiscovered Country and then discover the original series and see the old guys from Undiscovered Country almost unrecognizable, especially Shatner. I didn't even think it was the same actor at first. I was like, that's the same guy? Because I knew William Shatner from Rescue 911, right?
right.
So I was
Oh
like,
my god!
I
Rescue
didn't.
911.
When I saw him as a
That's
young
funny.
man, I was like, "Is that him?" Or is it?
That's really
because
cool.
Leonard Nimoy looked exactly the same. What's his name? God, what am I blanking on his name?
All of them look kind of the same except William Shatner and James Doohan. They kind
James
of changed.
Doohan and William Shatner look completely different.
They,
But
they look very different. Yeah, but otherwise,
why am I blanking
and
on
maybe,
the doctor's name?
Oh,
DeForest Kelly, Jesus
DeForest
Christ.
Kelly looks the
DeForest
same. Yeah, DeForest Kelly looks the same. Leonard Nimoy looks the same. Nichelle Nichols looks the
Even
same.
Chekhov.
Walter
Same.
Koenig and George Takei.
We're getting everybody's names.
Oh my gosh, we're like going off the
I'm
list.
tired.
Blue wants to know, why does everyone want to retell TOS? Berman, JJ, Kurtzman. I guess you could think of Enterprise as a retelling of TOS. Or I don't know. Why does everyone want to retell TOS?
No, I think because life is a circle. When you the history of
It's a
human
circle of
civilization
life.
is a circle, right? Because
Is it? Is history a circle?
No, but just
Sorry, go
hang with me for
Okay,
just
go. I'll go with you. I'll
one
go with
second. I mean, you think about it, right? Like in the 80s or whatever, the science fiction stories that they told are being told again for our generation. And so when we die and when we are being eaten in the ground by God knows what animals or whatever,
I'm gonna
the-
be burned.
the-
So
the science fiction stories
you. I'm
that
gonna be atomized.
the science fiction the science fiction stories that thrilled us and that we're talking about are going to be retold for a new generation so that they can fall in love with science fiction stories in the way that we did. So perfect circle, right?
I just want to say I secrete a liquid that solidifies into a husk, and then I'm reborn into a new body.
See,
And then-
see,
And then Reuben actually smokes my remains, and that's how I become atomized.
see,
So,
see,
like, that's
see,
like,
see,
that's
see,
like how I become.
this is why I love you guys, because I can sit here for like 5 minutes and try and tell a really poignant science fiction, theory of mine, and then all of you guys just shit on it and make jokes about it. That's why I love you
I
guys.
vibe with what you're saying. We were shitting on something completely
I'm kidding.
different.
I'm
But
kidding.
I do
I'm
vibe
kidding.
with what you're saying, except
Go ahead.
that I think
I'm a
that
little nuts.
the circle's getting smaller in time spans. Like it used to be that what you said is correct. Like when we were dead, the story was retold. Now we're seeing the same story that we grew up watching being retold 3 times, and it's like, oh, I just want to see the story progress. So like
Right.
it's
But
it's
I mean, what do we mean by retell TOS? I don't understand.
Oh, I get what he's saying. I think Blue is saying like
Redo everything?
so TOS, got quote unquote, let's say it's out. Let's just say, I know we don't believe that, but let's just say it's outdated, right? So they're like, let's make Enterprise a show that takes place at the beginning of the Federation, and it tells the story of this like time when things were less, so it kind of mirrored the 60s weird attitudes about women and things like that, but through a more HD lens, if you will, like through the Berman lens. And what I appreciate about that is that he didn't really mess with TOS. I personally think that when Enterprise came out, I actually was like offended by it, and I thought it didn't look correct, and there were like all kinds. I had all kinds of problems with it. I was like the same things you guys are seeing on the internet, where
Really?
people talk
You
about
were
Discovery. Like
offended
I was
by
that
Enterprise
person
the first
for
time?
Enterprise.
What?
I was super offended. I was like,
Explain
what
that.
is this? I was just like, Star Trek doesn't do prequels. That was my whole thing. I
Oh,
was
okay.
like, Star Trek has to keep going forward. This is boring. I don't want to know about this era of Star Trek. I just want to keep going into the future. So in a nutshell, I was just like, why are we going backwards? That was my main thing. But I had all sorts of problems with like the touch screens and the garbage design in my mind, which I think is beautiful, by the way. It's just not what I thought should have been that era, or whatever.
Yeah, but the
And I shouldn't have
but
said garbage. I apologize.
yeah,
But lots of people put a hard work into
the
that, so
really
it's not that it isn't great. It's just not what I personally thought that era was going to look like. In fact, I think the Expanse, which actually takes place in the TOS TMP time frame, but I feel like the Expanse look and feel is what I would have expected from Enterprise. Like that's what I would have wanted from Enterprise. And so the Epstein drive would have just been the warp drive, right? Like, like that's what I was hoping for from like when I saw the Expanse, my first thought was like, oh, this is what Enterprise, I wish Enterprise would have been like this. But that being said, I think what Blue's saying is, and then J.J. Abrams, instead of making a Star Trek film already in like the next film for the TNG cast, decided, oh, I want to retell TOS basically, like, and that's what he did. He reimagined TOS with that wonderful continuity link with Spock and like the way they did it, and all brilliant and everything. But again, a retelling of TOS, and then basically Discovery is kind of a retelling of TOS, and now Strange New Worlds is also going to be a retelling of TOS. Like,
I mean, the easy answer is the easy answer: money. Nostalgia releases dopamine. Dopamine makes people give you money.
Yeah, happy.
End of story.
Look if
Like end of story. Like
Happiness.
okay, but you can get nostalgia. I have this thing.
I mean-
I call it future nostalgia. Have you ever heard of future nostalgia? Like there is a kind of nostalgia you can have for things that are yet to come as well, and that's something you can capitalize on as well. And I think I'm having that. I'm having major future nostalgia. I want to go forward, and
you're talking to the wrong guy here, because you know me, I don't like any of this stuff. It releases dopamine in most people, and me, it releases rage and hatred, and so yeah, I'm with you. Future nostalgia, let's do it. But
aren't you just
the fact
lovely,
is that
Ruben? You're just so lovely.
the fact is that it makes the money. That's what makes the money.
Yeah.
Familiar makes money.
In a way, Strange New Worlds is another TOS Kurtzman retelling of TOS. Exactly.
And so they're basically they've re-familiarized everybody now. What JJ and Kurtzman have done is re-familiarize everybody with the same characters, same universe, almost, and then that's it. So now you do it again, and you do it again. You do it again and again and again
See,
and again.
perfect circle. I'm not crazy.
I do think all I'm saying is like it's just the one of the reasons I'm so excited about Star Trek Discovery season 3 is that I was like, oh my gosh, this show like now makes sense to me. Like it's just like, yeah, it's in the right place. It's where it always should have been. It's like, somewhere in the future of that time or that world.
In my opinion, Discovery season 3 should have. I haven't actually watched it, but from what I know of it, that should have been the show from the start. Not let's rehash, because TNG isn't out of that what it did. TNG used nostalgia too. It just did it back then. It was different. It was nostalgia to pass the torch, and then once in a while they'd sprinkle in a little, hey, here's a Scotty episode randomly, whatever. It wasn't like built on the nostalgia. It just used it as a transition. Now nostalgia's used in everything. I mean, look at the What If show. Hey, remember all this stuff? What if we mix the toys around? And then that's dopamine. And I'm done. That's my point.
I was just saying, I think PJ was raising his hand, so I put him full screen. But what is this cool lighting you have now? You're also on mute, I think. There you go.
I was pretending I was Ruben's puppet master.
Oh,
I was controlling what he was saying.
that's pretty funny.
I was Frank Oz and or
No,
Jim
I know.
Henson.
I just want to say one more thing.
I hope
About-
you'll say more than one
Go.
more thing, but about this, go ahead.
Yes, about this. I recently one thing that I'm very very proud of is because I suggested to a friend that she should just watch TNG to get happy because she's on an island in Australia and she's basically in prison and she can't leave. And she loves TNG now. I mean, she has problems with it. She loves TNG and she loves Discovery. And when I told her about Strange New Worlds, and she asked me is there anything that she should watch before she watches Strange New Worlds, and I quickly assessed the situation in my head and I said, listen, I want you to watch Strange New Worlds, and if you like that, and if you want to find out more history about Captain Pike, then I can suggest some other things for you. But I want you to watch Strange New Worlds before you watch The Cage, for example, or you read anything about Christopher Pike. Yeah, I don't
You're
know
on
if that
mute.
was.
Strange
You're-
new
I'm not on mute.
world.
Oh,
No,
I said
Starfleet
that's cool. I said that's cool. You're curating an experience for someone. It's fun. I like to
Yeah, but-
curate.
Fantastic
Yeah,
brand
but,
new sci-fi show.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't know if that was the right thing because this person isn't familiar with. She's not in the Star Trek ethosphere like us, so I wanted to make her transition into Star Trek as smoothly as I possibly could. I didn't want to overload her with too much crap. So I'm not saying that The Cage is crap. The Cage is awesome. It's awesome.
The Cage is amazing.
Cage.
But I,
Nick
you know,
Cage.
I
Nicolas Cage is amazing.
I didn't want to overload her with too much Star Trek history that she didn't really need to know.
Ready Player One is all you need to know about why entertainment is.
I
what
love
it
that
is.
movie though. That's different.
That
it's like
movie is nothing but, hey, remember this?
Remember berries, right?
Remember this? Yeah, it's awful. It's like a nightmare.
Uh,
It's 20 minutes of exposition for
What
the first
movie?
20 minutes.
Ready Player One.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Ready Player 2 is coming soon.
That's like the textbook example of nostalgia cocaine,
Yeah,
pop
yeah,
culture
yeah.
cocaine, as I like to call it.
Space Jam: A New Legacy. There you go.
Yeah, that's all. It's kind of like that too. TOS is what created the Star Trek archetype. It's so hard to get away from TOS because of that. So basically, what Ruben and Marcelo are saying is two things. One, TOS is what makes the money. It's that nostalgia for Star Trek. Even though most people, I feel like, don't remember, including myself, because in this rewatch of TOS, I didn't remember what TOS was like. Like I had my own understanding of it, like through pop culture and through like memory. That wasn't exactly what TOS actually is. What it is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but like what I remembered was different from what it is. So it's interesting, like that's the moneymaker, because like I'm like, really, like space amoebas? No, I love it. But I am excited about Strange New Worlds because one of the things that's appealing about it is that I think this is the first time, from what the teasing and all the hype is saying, that it's gonna be really close to the spirit, both visually and like in style, to the original series. Because like the thing about the Star Trek Kelvin films is that while they are fun and like they're insane, like Star Trek never looked like that at that before on screen. Like it was just gorgeous, right? In like big and IMAX. It's an IMAX Star Trek basically, right? Despite that, it's not like, it's nothing visually it's nothing like the spirit of TOS is there, but visually it looks nothing familiar. There's nothing, hardly anything familiar. Just like very like basic lines and archetypes, like the colored uniforms and like things like that. But like the decks are like TOS, like they're these tubular decks. Like you can go, there's millions of differences that make it look completely different from the original series. And the same for Discovery. While it's a lot closer, it's in a somewhere like an in between point from the Kelvin films and like maybe Berman era Star Trek, but it like Enterprise, I guess, but it doesn't really look like TOS. So I'm excited to see what they do in Strange New Worlds, because I heard they revamped a lot of stuff. They even rebuilt the bridge and things like that. Those are just rumors, but that's what I heard.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. What is he doing?
I think he's moving to a new spot. Did you get kicked out of? You're just getting some water. That's cool that you can be mobile.
Okay. You've never taken us with you. You just get up usually.
To answer your question, Blue, I think my thing is, there's a really strong, like if I were put in charge of Star Trek, I would want to retell TNG. Like I get it. That's what Mike McMahon is basically doing. Yeah, I love that. That TNG is like my favorite. There's a really strong drive to go with what you know and what's familiar, and like it's really hard to just create the next generation, so to speak. And there's a lot of expectation, and there's a lot of like, I almost feel like, and I'm not sure about this, but like I almost feel like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. What is that? Oh, is that a new article came out? What happened?
No, I was trying to do
Alex
something.
Kurtzman got fired.
And I forgot to hit the button. But I'll do it.
No.
Alex Kurtzman was fired.
No. That's it. I'm leaving the show right now. Sorry.
PJ's also doing the mobile. He's trying to show us himself. That's really freaky, actually. Hold on, let me see.
If you look into the seventh layer, that's hell.
This is a great Friday. This is the great Friday the 13th theme thing. Real quick, can we talk a little bit about Superman and Lois? Did everyone here see that except Ruben?
I did. I watched that. See.
I can't. It's almost like I can't even start watching things, because then it would just ruin the joke if I actually start watching.
Has everyone seen that except Ruben?
See. That's what really pisses me off. The fact that I was late today, because I watched Superman and Lois just for the show, and the fact that I was fucking late really pisses me off even more. But I really liked this last episode. It was really, really good, specifically with what happens with one of Clark's kids at the very end. I was like, wow.
Demon Child.
Yeah, Demon Child. Yeah. I was like, I was really impressed with it.
What I liked about the episode, PJ, you saw it, right?
Now his nephew is his dad.
His nephew is his dad.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's true.
It's like, hello, father. I mean, hello, son. I'm your father. I'm the father, not you.
It subverted my expectations in a delightful way, because I didn't know how they were going to keep it real, so to speak. That's like the way I like to think about it. But like so far the series has been great in the sense that like it's so satisfying to see the struggles, the down to earth struggles of the family versus these like huge things that are going on the planet, right?
Well, what's Morgan Edge's name?
It's not Zora, it's Zora, right? It's Torah.
Well, anyway, Morgan Edge, was he absorbing the sun stuff for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Because like when it goes to the opening da 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 with the Superman symbol, then it's like 3 weeks later. I was like, was he up there absorbing all that shit for 3 fucking whole weeks?
Wouldn't he even drain the sun? Could he?
I don't know. Like it because they show him, and it's not a recap. It's like a scene of him getting all the energies from the sun. Title card. 3 weeks later, he's still fucking up there doing that shit.
But how do we know that the sun that he was absorbing was our sun?
It had to have been
pretty close.
Well,
I mean,
he'd
he
like
had to travel
scrolling
a
on
good
phone
long.
while he's absorbing the sunlight.
Yeah.
He's just like floating in front of the sun, just like.
I kind of really didn't think that much.
So he has all the souls of everybody now, and then he can like possess people. He's getting really like overpowered. I think this Morgan Edge fella. It's like I don't like him as a villain. I see what they're going for. Still a damn good season though. I mean,
It's
I
really
can't
damn
wait
good.
to see what they would do with a Lex Luthor story.
Oh, yeah,
Like John Cryer comes back, moves into Smallville next season. People are like, oh, we don't want you here, man. You've caused us so much trouble for 20 years. All this history and whatnot. And John Cryer's like, oh, I've turned over a new leaf. I've got a woman, a wife, and she's pregnant with my kid, and we're gonna settle down. And people are like, something up with it. Like they don't trust him at first, and then it like baits you for a while where you think, okay, maybe Lex Luthor is settled down, and it's like he's connected to the other villain that we're introduced to at the beginning, and it's like this whole thing. But once they get rid of Morgan Edge shit should not carry over until next season. I want that to be.
No,
They should have this like 1 season deal. Move on to a completely different thing next time.
No, I think
Explore Jordan's powers next season. Have him do some fucking flying and shit, because that seems like the natural progression. I think we're gonna see him flying around in the finale.
So just a real recap for Ruben of the whole series, because this is the penultimate episode. So the next episode is the finale. But basically, kind of what's going on in Superman and Lois from our discussions, where basically it takes place after Clark and Lois have had twin childs. They'll drink in
Twin
the sun.
boy child.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
The cells will be drunk in the radiation.
But anyways, they have twin. Only PJ and I know what that is. Like no one else, and maybe people who watched our watch along.
I've had a child, Zod. A boy child. I fucked my wife doing it.
It's so
it
true.
was it was the first natural birth on Krypton in
On
centuries.
Krypton. Right, in centuries, it's true. Great. Okay, Marcelo, you're tuned in. But anyways, they have these.
He will be
twin
like a god to them. His cells will be drunk in the radiation. Anyway,
Radiation.
They have these twin. That's Russell Crowe. They have these twin boys, and they're raising them as a normal family. And the boys think that Clark and Lois both work at the Daily Planet, and they have no idea that their dad is Superman. They see Superman on the news. Again, suspension of disbelief that they can't recognize
really,
that the guy,
right.
like the guy they see every day looks just like Superman. But whatever, that's not the point. That's a Superman trope. But they decide
he's
to
not there while they're watching Superman on the news.
it's like, why does Dad rush off every time Superman is on the fucking news? But you know what the thing is? They actually have a flashback episode where Lois spends a good amount of time with Clark, like falls in love with him, then like meets Superman, has like very close face-to-face interviews, and her friend's like, I think Superman likes you. She's like, nah, well, I like Clark instead. And you're like, what are you, fucking blind?
It's true. It's true. She can't.
Suspension
it is
of
weird.
disbelief, right?
Yeah, it's especially. But anyways, the show is brilliant because it depicts them as a family moving back to Smallville, and most of the drama is centered around like raising the kids and just like regular everyday freaking difficulties, and the action's cool and everything, but that's not what I watched the show for. I literally watched the show to see if Clark and Lois are gonna survive another day in this difficult life raising kids, and I'm like vicariously raising kids through them. Like, man, I should have had a family. It's cool. It's tough, but it's cool.
Is
But
Lana
anyways-
Lang out now, or are they gone? Did they leave at the end, or
No, they didn't leave at the end, no.
they decided to stay? Okay.
They're not
But the culmination is there's this guy named Morgan Edge who's like basically
My dog needs
You
water.
know,
I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh, he doesn't want to hear this. We're doing the recap.
He doesn't
for
care
Ruben.
about what you're
He doesn't
saying.
even care. That's I was doing the whole recap for Ruben.
You're doing
And
it
he's
for his
like,
benefit. I was wondering why you were telling
No.
us about the show.
yeah, I
you
was
know
like
about
telling
it.
her, and he's just like, I have to go get water. I'm not interested.
He's
in
like,
this.
I don't even know that you're talking right now.
I
That's
think
what...
I think it's one of the
That
I think
failed.
it's one of the finest CW shows that Greg Berlanti has produced in quite a while from a writing standpoint, because you could take Superman out of the show and just keep the family aspect, and I would still want to watch the show. And I think that's saying a lot about the quality of the writing on the show.
And the real problem is not just them,
Just
but
to-
like
just to focus it.
Lana and her family, and like
yeah.
Lana. Ruben, I was doing
Lana.
this whole recap for your benefit, and you're like, I have to go get water. I'll be right back. And I'm
No,
like,
for my
okay.
dog. My dog needed water. The poor guy.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay.
He was like,
But yeah,
right. Morgan Edge is another Kryptonian, right?
he's basically Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, or he's just like so the interesting thing, yeah, he's another Kryptonian that actually was sent to Earth before Kal-El was. He arrived before Kal-El, and the difference is that he was found by the British, and so basically the show's saying
Big mistake. What?
Oh boy.
Oh,
That
boy.
never goes well.
Basically, the show is
What's
saying,
that there? Let's kill it. Shoot it.
We could take over the whole fucking world with him.
Basically, the British, right from the start, they start shooting at him when he comes out of his space pod. There's no compassion. He's also bigger, I feel like, than Cal. They lock him up in a facility. They study him. They prod him. They poke
Doesn't he
him.
have power?
He goes all Akira on their ass.
He does have powers, but they figure out how to like subdue him because he was a child initially when he came. Like he was young, you know what I mean? Like so they were able to.
He was
to
a boy
subdue
child.
him. He was a boy child. He hadn't drunk in all the radiation yet.
They gave him
But-
a kryptonite lollipop, or was it pacifier?
That'd be funny. He wasn't a baby, right? He was like a kid, like a toddler, kid, like
yeah.
a teen, like almost a tween or something.
Yeah, he was a tween when he
was a
when
bit
when
older
first landed, I think.
Yeah. And it gets even cooler because his father is actually the first husband of Lara, who later marries Jor-El. So Superman. So he's Superman's. He's Kal-El's half brother. Anyways, this guy lands here first. He's captured by the British. He's held in a facility. He's basically mistreated. He's treated like an alien, like what you would expect might happen. It's very possible that could happen. And he's just like, he just turns out effed up. He's like a really messed up guy. He has like a lot of psychological problems. On top of that, when he finds his father's Krypton stone, his father turns out to be a total like Hitler type of person who is just like a real jerk and like abuses him and like tortures him basically, and tells him that his only purpose is to become this thing called the Eradicator. And you know what that is from the comics, right? The Eradicator. Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
So he's basically harboring the entire consciousness, according to this version of the Eradicator, is that he's harboring the entire consciousness of every Kryptonian, and now he can just at will cause you to be possessed by a Kryptonian. Like he just feeds you their personality and it takes over your personality. So he's the Eradicator.
I'm every Krypton. They're all in me.
That's really funny. But
a Whitney Houston reference.
that was very nice.
Wait, who
Right?
sang that before her? Somebody else sang that before.
That would
her.
be
Shaka Khan. I don't know.
Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan.
We miss Shaka. He's working. He would have loved to have been here.
What is he doing, by the way? Do you know what he's doing?
I don't know if we're allowed to
He's
say.
a grave
But
digger.
yeah, other than being a TikTok superstar, what is he at, like 80?
Oh my god, I was right. It was Shaka Khan. That was like a complete guess.
Really?
It was.
Huh.
Anyways, on the other hand, so on
Shaka
the other,
Khan.
so-
Shaka Khan. I feel for you, because I love you. Bam.
on the other, to make it even weird, that's really funny. To make it even to make it even funnier, Ruben, or funner, you have this guy John
Both
Henry.
fun.
John Henry Is it Irons?
Iron.
John Henry Irons. He's got one of those jaws, dude. Like he's
Yeah.
always like flexing his jaw.
Was he Jeremy
His
Irons'
jaw's like
son?
this.
He's this
like-
guy. He's this
He's
guy
like-
from
it's
an
like
alternate
pulsating.
universe. Speaking of what if, he's this guy from another universe who was married to his version of Lois Lane, in that universe, and so
And they had a
his-
daughter.
They had a
who died.
daughter.
Even though she only liked it in the brown hole.
In the what?
In the bus.
brown
You
hole.
meant
The
in the
brown
bus.
hole.
Are you talking about the bus?
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
It's called a starfish, like in the like.
Oh my god.
It's called a
Brown
starfish.
It's called a starro.
It's called a starro.
star
And you gotta
hole,
slay
right?
that shit, baby.
Ruben's in rare form tonight. You're horny.
Oh boy.
This is the Ruben's horny episode. Wow.
So John Henry
Conversation
accidentally goes to their universe and
Oh, and
thinks
in
that
his universe, Superman is this evil
is
prick
evil.
and he destroys everything.
Oh, and he also barbecues his wife too.
Yeah,
his
he
version of
barbecues Lois
he
Lane in
kills
that universe,
Lois,
yeah.
and
Which is-
there's a scene in this
which
episode
is
that mirrors
terrifying,
that.
by the way.
Yeah,
where
that was
they're-
awesome. That was a
where
great
they're
payoff.
watching is like, this is where Mom died in the other universe, and it's like,
Thor's hammer. Boom.
yeah, there you go.
John
Sorry.
Henry Irons Hammer. What? And I love when he's like, you missed, and he's like, I never miss. I was like, yes. It was like, it felt like a movie. It was like so
I can
good.
I can predict right now, and you're probably gonna hear it soon. I have no idea if this is true, but I think you're gonna see a Steel spin-off, like an actual show called Steel, starring
His
the
character,
dude who
yeah.
played his character John Henry, and like Shaq.
Cool.
Shaq makes an appearance every now and again.
I do think that like this show is going to be the starting point of a new branch, if you will, just like much in the way
This
I
is
guess
the new
Arrow.
Arrowverse.
Yeah,
this
the new
is
Arrowverse.
replacing
Yeah.
once Supergirl, Flash, and all these shows are done. This is the new standard.
Flash
I'm not
is
saying-
gonna never end because he can time travel.
Oh, that too, and yeah, I think every show now that they're gonna do with HBO Max's involvement, like this with this one, is gonna have that production level. Because if you do, what's next? I don't know what they're doing next in terms of CW shows. I should look it up because I don't even know that they have any planned.
Guys, make
No.
it show. I'll be right back.
The next CW show.
No.
CW
No, I do
superhero
know
show.
that Supergirl's ending. The Flash has been renewed. Legends of Tomorrow has been renewed. Batgirl's coming back. Yeah,
But yeah, nothing is in the works, like in terms
no,
of anything.
nothing brand new. All the sort of brand new stuff is going over to HBO Max because they have a Green Lantern show coming on HBO Max, and they have
Peacemaker.
Batgirl.
A
going
Batgirl,
to HBO Max.
a Batgirl film that's set in
Right.
the DCEU
Right.
with
so-
like
so-
you know
so-
they're
so-
trying to
so-
get J.K. Simmons for Gordon again.
Right, but if we're talking about the Greg Berlanti verse, that doesn't even count because
No.
he's not going to.
And on top of that, they're gonna do another Batman type show on HBO
right,
Max about Gotham PD that where the Gordon there is Jeffrey Wright.
right.
So they're gonna 2022 is gonna be all about multiple versions of Spider-Man and Batman and this one and that one. It's like
Yeah,
we're gonna
it's
have
be
literally
crazy.
Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton in the Flash movie next year together as two different Batman,
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty crazy.
and they're both in costume too. That's gonna be the fucking crazy thing. Just imagine. I can't even imagine it. Like Toby,
Yeah.
like if the Spider-Man stuff is true, we're gonna have like Kirsten Dunst in the same movie as Jamie Foxx in the same movie as what's his name, who Tom Holland. There you go.
Yeah,
It's weird.
No, it's gonna be
What were you gonna say?
really crazy.
I can't find anything that's coming up besides what they've already
Yeah.
announced.
No, but
I can't wait. I can't wait to see the next season of Superman and Lois. That's all I care about
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, man. No, but the thing I love about the show is the writing and the care that they take with the storylines. Like not I'm not talking about the superhero element. I'm talking about the family side of the storyline. Sorry, I'm a writer guy, so you'll have to.
That's one thing the CW shows aren't really good at. Usually the family drama. Arrow did it well in the first two seasons. They had like a soap opera kind of, like a primetime soap opera kind of quality with some like pretty brutal violence in the early stuff. Then all of it, like even the first bit of Flash, was kind of cool, but then it just gets into this repetitive paint by numbers formulaic melodrama soap opera bullshit. And you can do that kind of stuff. Like, there's a lot of melodrama in Superman and Lois, but not only is it's well written, actors don't go off and it's one of these shows where characters don't go off and say stupid shit that you're like, wait a second, they wouldn't say that. Oh, they're only doing this for the sake of the story. But like characters seemingly have very natural conversations in the show, and none of it's like especially dynamic, but it moves the plot along. Like everything's relevant, and they don't put a lot of like filler or fluff in there. Usually, it all has to do like the Lang family, like Lana Lang and her family. Like I didn't expect them to go into their story so much, and for me to actually like care about them to the point where they're having whole scenes and like whole subplots where they're just focusing on just that family. And it seems like Superman and Lois at times are like side characters, which is not a bad thing. It's like they can naturally explore the other characters, and even the kids. Teenagers are so shittily written, like they don't know how to write them. They're always moody fucking assholes that always say shitty things to one another. And in this, there's elements of that, but they actually managed to write the teenagers as like realistically, in the sense that some teenagers actually have maturity and they can actually get along with their siblings, and they can actually care about each other, and like, and there may be like bullying and like little fights here and there, but usually everybody in that town works it out. Like they only really the townspeople only really become shitty when they all come back from the disaster and blame the Lang family for getting them into Morgan Edge and stuff. But like there's a sense of like there's an actual sense of community in the show that you don't get from any of the other CW shows. It feels like very manufactured in the other shows.
Mm-hmm. To move off of your point with the Lana Lang family, I thought like in the pilot I couldn't stand Lana Lang's husband. I thought that I was gonna despise that guy. But as this series has gone on, and as we've gotten a peek behind the curtain with the Lana family, I really, really enjoy where they have gone with the Lana Lang family and what we've seen of them so far.
They're very clever with that story because they have him go through a lot. Like the dude's trying, and if you don't like him at the beginning, my God, I don't know if you have any feeling in you, you're gonna feel something for the poor guy, especially when like the townspeople turn against him and shit. Like, man, it's not his fault. It's not her fault. It's not his wife's fault either. It's just they were trying to help these people, and it's like, and it's played so well because they could easily go down that path with his character where he gets depressed or something, becomes a drunk, becomes an asshole, becomes a typical shitty father figure and whatnot. But they don't do that because even when it gets to the point where his daughter and wife are kind of like berating him or there's conflict there, they always work it out. But they don't work it out in a forced kind of bullshit sitcom way. It all feels like, actually, in some cases, they take 2 or 3 episodes to do like little mini arcs with certain characters, and it's a fine balancing act because it's so like the only thing formulaic about the show I find is the comic book stuff, like the Morgan Edge, like evil Kryptonian half brother of him and possessing everybody, which already happened, and I thought that was done and over with. Now he has the power like to just zap souls into people, and I'm like, okay, it's getting a bit like fucking campy. It's getting into that camp area,
Yeah.
and the whole trope about the suspension of disbelief, like nobody knows Clark is Superman, even though they have close contact with both Clark and Superman, and it's literally just a matter of taking the glasses off. How could you not know? But whatever. That's the only gripes I have with it, really. But other than that, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, but does that bother you in other Superman incarnations?
Yeah. They do it cleverly in the original, in the Donner films or the Donner film, because Christopher Reeve is so good at becoming another person. Like in Kill Bill, they talk about how Clark Kent is his disguise.
Right.
That is truly evident in Christopher Reeve's portrayal, because you can't imagine him as like he's so bumbling and so awkward as Clark, and he plays it so well that you can understand Lois not really seeing it, at least not right away. If you watch the Donner cut, it's only a matter of time before she sees a picture of Superman in the paper, and then just simply draws glasses around his face. And, oh my God, there you go. She's figured it out. That's all. That's actually very realistic for its time. Like that, she would. But they changed all that with the Lester stuff. And but anyway, and she tries to kill herself, and then she
Yeah.
figures, oh well, you must not be Superman. Then I'm not convinced. That's really dumb. Like the way they played that out. But in the Donner cut, she actually tries to kill herself too. She jumps out a window instead. But anyway, I digress. But I liked how Man of Steel skipped over that. Like they made, like when Lois finds out about Clark's powers. That's it.
Yeah.
She knows that he's Superman when he becomes Superman. No bones about it.
Yeah, I've never heard you speak about Man of Steel, so if you could just enlighten me for a couple seconds and tell me what you think about that.
About what?
About Man of Steel?
Oh, Man of Steel. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good sci-fi movie. It's not necessarily the best superhero movie. It's not necessarily the best Superman. It's like Superman Returns. It's a weird romance, and it's like Man of Steel has like not a hard sci-fi approach, but I like how it takes into account, like when Zod and his crew, they have the helmets and like the atmosphere and what happens to them when they're exposed to the atmosphere when they're not acclimated to it. The whole approach of like Clark having trouble as a child and whatnot.
Right.
Dealing with his powers and how that manifests, which they do deal with in Superman and Lois. I find Superman and Lois takes the best elements of classic Superman and some of the Man of Steel stuff in terms of like the sound, the sensitivity to sound, and the only thing about Man of Steel is that it devolves into a CG bullshit mess at the end. And I get to a point where I'm liking the movie, and then when it gets to the end where they're just boom, 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 and everything's
It's too much
It
for
looks
you?
so. It's not. It's just bad. It's not. If the CG was better, it might be more tolerable. But even the CG in the green screen looks fucking shit in that movie, and it should be the best part of the movie, like the action, like Superman 2 when he's fighting Zod and his crew. That's the best part of the movie. It's all done very practically. Looks very phony now, you could say, but it still is 10 times more entertaining than blurry CGI bullshit that you can't make. It's like Transformers. You get to the end of those movies, and I'm like, why did I start watching this? Because I know how it all ends. It devolves into CGI garbage, basically.
Yeah.
But
No,
his decision to kill Zod and all that stuff, I thought that was like, oh my god, it's so amazing, like how they made that. People were like, "Arr!" I was like, no, he was gonna he didn't care. Zod was gonna just kill everybody. He
Yeah.
had to be taken out. He was gonna kill that family, break the neck. There you go, that's problem solved. And Henry Cavill's scream afterwards, seeing Superman
good.
fucking like scream like that. I thought that was a great way to kind of end. Same thing with Batman v Superman, the actual 3-hour cut, which I really like. The third act is still the third act. It's CGI fucking bullshit. So anyway,
Yeah, but with when it comes to Batman v Superman, I went to go see the theatrical cut in theaters, and I can't remember a time when I was so incensed. So when Zack Snyder had the opportunity to release his version of the film with the 30 extra minutes, I thought that it was a much more cohesive story. And I love the fact that that in Zack Snyder's version of Batman v Superman, he really gave a chunky story, a much more story to Lois Lane's character. I really appreciated that.
the thing about the theatrical cut of Batman versus Superman, that
Pissed
you're
me off.
watching an incomplete movie that
Yeah.
takes away essential plot points
Yeah.
that confuse you for the duration of the movie. Like what happens, was it in Africa at the beginning?
Right.
They don't show you they hint at what might, you don't really know. in the theatrical cut, you're like the whole movie, and this sidecar, the woman who testifies against him is a character that actually has a whole subplot that they fuck with and they don't explore, which ruins it. And they also
imagine if Zack Snyder knew how to make a movie and didn't use so much fucking slow motion,
Ooh.
and he used that time to actually tell a story.
he doesn't
And
use a
fill
lot
in
of
those parts.
he does
Okay.
that's the thing about Batman v Superman. He abandons the whole slow motion trope. He
Okay.
brings it back in full force in Justice League, the Snyder cut. He really like plays it up in that one, but
Awful.
in Batman v Superman, he tones it down. You look at 300, it's like all slow mo porn. But another thing about the 3-hour cut is that Batman is a psychotic villain. He is a psychotic, murderous, not to be sympathized with, not to be liked type of character. And Clark is out to fucking get him. And the more Clark is investigating him in the director's cut, the more you realize, oh yeah, this dude, Batman needs to go. Like he's reached a point now where he's not. He shouldn't be at. He should be stopped. And what the theatrical cut does is they sanitize the villainous Batman so much that he doesn't seem like as bad as Superman makes him out to be. And the fact that they fight right away and don't talk doesn't make sense in the theatrical cut. But when you watch the longer version, it makes more sense why it would be more like react rather than think about. But another thing too, just one last thing, is that little things like when Batman attacks people in the warehouse, it's very clear. Like you can tell he kills people in the theatrical cut. Sure, he kills a lot of people, but they kind of gloss over it. But in this one, they show like when he throws a crate at a dude, the dude actually smashes the back of his head against the wall, and you see like blood splatter.
Yeah.
But they
brain matter.
they censor that in the theatrical, or they don't do the blood. They do bloodless violence, and the blood makes a lot of difference. The blood really like when you watch Wolverine, I mean Logan,
Hello.
you're like, oh my god, he's a really violent fucking killer. Like what he does is really gruesome. And in a PG-13 version of Wolverine, it's so sanitized and so unbelievable and almost cartoony that I actually appreciate when they show like real consequences of violence and they don't kind of sugarcoat that shit.
Yeah, move away from it.
I saw
All
this
right.
thing. Oh, sorry, Marcel. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say I'm gonna shut up now, and you can take the show back over.
Oh no, thanks for making it show. You always do a good job. I feel like you guys all are better when I'm not here.
But
All
we
right,
miss
see you
when
later.
You're not here.
Go away.
No. See you later. Make it show again. Blue said there's a couple comments we're behind on the comments a little bit. I said, "Ooh, nice. Batgirl will be cool. I'm excited about that, and the Green Lantern." Blue says, "Looking forward to all the Spider-Man craziness." Me too. Obviously, I love Spider-Man. Do you guys think the multiverse stuff will get played out? I don't.
No, because I mean, guys like us, we've known about multiverse for a while, but for people, the general public who are not like us, I think it's gonna take them a long while before they get sick of it.
What do you mean, like us? Like, I feel like the multiverse has become so
No,
popular now. Like, I think lots
No,
of people
All the
understand.
multiverses with DC and Marvel, are playing a smart game by copying each other now. Whoever's copying who, I don't know. But
No,
they're both delving into this multiverse thing that's going to make them so much
And
money
Star
at the box
Trek, I
office.
feel like, has kind of done that. Well, you said, like
What?
you said earlier, it's already
No,
done
I
that.
mean,
yeah.
I'm not talking about Quinto Spock and Ethan Peck Spock. If
Right.
if they ever start doing that shit in Star Trek, I'm fucking out, dude. I'm done. But I
You're
can
done with-
accept it in the Marvel universe, like Toby
If
Maguire.
Quinto
You know,
Spock
you can have Toby.
and
can have
CGI Leonard Nimoy. You don't want a CGI Tarkin Leonard
yeah.
Nimoy.
Why don't you
don't
just
want,
why
like-
don't you just take a big shit on his legacy while you're at it?
Oh my god, that's crazy. Look at Ruben's. Ruben's like,
No,
none of my
but this
business.
but you got to realize, dude. Next year, when people start seeing the trailers with fucking like Keaton and Affleck together with
They're gonna lose
Flash
their
and
minds.
Supergirl, and when they start seeing like, different Spider-Mans and different Batmans and
Batmans and Spider-Mans and Supermans.
It's gonna make them a lot of money initially, and it's gonna be a big marketing gimmick, and it's gonna be like a big fucking fad. And it's not that people will get sick of it. It's just gonna be like, it's gonna get to a point where I need to choose a Batman to watch. I need to choose one Spider-Man. I can't be dealing with fucking like, it's gonna get it's not gonna be it's not gonna people are not gonna necessarily get tired of it. It's just that they're gonna be like, they're just gonna choose the one path.
The one path, the path
And
of the weirding way.
I guarantee you right
the
now,
spice must flow.
I guarantee you right now, both DC and Marvel will do this thing where they fix it all at the end. Like the multiverse gets fixed, and they don't have to
Stitched
deal
back
with the
together?
multiverse shit anymore. Because if you continue in both franchises with just doing multiverse shit from now on, none of it really matters, does it?
No,
Because
it's
what
not
if
good.
one
It's
Batman or
not
one
good.
Superman or whatever dies? It's like, oh, well, you got the other one there waiting to fucking take his place.
I think
The same
Star
thing's
Trek
gonna happen
has.
that happens in the comics every 10 to 15 years.
I think I
the-
agree with.
But at least with
the-
a linear,
the-
with one
narr-
Spider-Man or one Batman that's in a linear kind of 4 movie thing, with no other ones interfering in the multiverse or whatever. Once we get back to that, I would like for there to be consequences. Like I actually thought Batman was gonna die in The Dark Knight Rises. They cheat that at the end though, but whatever. That would have been cool. Like to actually, Batman actually dies at the end. It's like, well, I guess the Nolan trilogy is done.
That's
Let's
never gonna happen.
let's
I don't
wait
think
2
it's
more
ever
years
gonna
for the next iteration of Batman and see how that is. Like, you know what I mean?
happen. Ruben, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, Ruben.
Yeah, the one time he speaks, he's not playing his video game. I'm just kidding.
The same thing's gonna happen in the movies that happens in the comics every 10 to 15 years, where it becomes a convoluted mess. It'll start losing viewers.
And
They'll
blow
fix
everything
it,
up.
like you're saying, and then they'll convolute it eventually again, because that's how that whole kind of narrative has to function.
I think Star Trek, like Marcel said, might be doing it the right way, where it's different flavors of Star Trek, but all in the same kind of like continuity or whatever, if you will. That's
I can
interesting.
predict right now in the 2030s, if like the multiverse shit like gets played out, which
The
probably
2030s.
will.
That's not too far away, actually.
It's not too far away.
Yeah,
but
it's not too far away.
I think once we get there, I think comic book movies will go back. I think it will be a renaissance of Spider-Man exists in this world and he's the only one, or Batman exists in this world and he's the only one. You know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna do like, we don't need multiple. It's almost, there's something special about it's a superhero movie where that particular superhero is like the only one on the planet like that, or that unique, or that special. Because now every single superhero movie involves a universe where 70,000 superheroes exist.
Blue also says, oh, this is in reference to when you guys were talking about Superman and Lois. The newspaper, Smallville, there are so many great stories. It's true. They have a lot of Superman,
stories.
going back to Superman, Lois, they have a lot of, just a lot of like stories. I hope it doesn't.
Did you hear us talking about Lois and Superman?
I heard a little bit. Sometimes I had to
It was a really good conversation. We were like,
Oh, I
we
can't
were
wait.
we were totally licking its butt.
Ooh. It looks like it because there was
I don't recommend
a
that,
lot of
people.
chatter about it.
Don't lick butts.
Blue
Unless
says, I
thoroughly
hope it
cleaned,
doesn't
I guess.
flatten out next. Starro. Blue says, I hope it doesn't flatten out next season, though. I don't want a nice little bow on everything at the end of. Yeah, I agree with that. It has season 2s always scare me.
Perhaps Jordan dies.
Yeah, who knows?
Did you see the preview for the next episode?
No, I didn't
Marcus
actually see it.
Jordan.
Oh no,
Jordan.
By the way, the actor who plays Jordan, whose name I can't remember right now, is like BFFs with William Shatner, and I'm so freaking jealous on
Why?
Twitter. Huh?
Why?
They were at a con together and they became friends and they were tweeting at each other and posting pictures of each other, and I was like, why is that kid so
It's
lucky?
a big age difference, dude.
What are you talking about?
Big age difference.
They're just
if
friends.
you ask
You can
me.
be friends. You can
If
be
you
friends
ask
with older
me.
people. William Shatner.
Nothing nefarious going on there.
Oh
All of a
my
sudden.
goodness! Stop it, PJ. How old is he? Now I have to look up how old he is. He's probably 25 or something, or 21. They always cast older than.
He's 12,
Tina.
my friend. He's 12.
No, he's not 12. He's not. Don't listen to PJ. Starfleet Boy said Clark and Lois have such a great partnership. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about that. That was the only thing I wanted to add to what you guys were saying. You guys were talking about like awesome aspects of the show, but I feel like oh, and Blue touches on it in a future comment, but I feel like the Lois
They
and
seem
Clark,
like a couple that get down. They feel like a couple that have sex. They don't feel like one
Yeah.
of these TV couples where you're like, I don't see them fucking. This is one where like, man, I can see them doing it like
they are
a
doing
couple
it,
times
but
a week.
Yeah, and they're just such great partners. Like they are so like in sync with each other. Like the way that they handle the kids and just problems in general. It's just like a true partnership. And Blue says, I like this comment, Blue. It kind of teaches you how to resolve conflict in a healthy way, and I agree with that. I think this show is like a great show.
It's
if
mature.
it's
mature
very
in its
mature. It's
sensibilities.
it's sensible. It's so good. It's like you have the wham bam, action set pieces going on, but you also have this like really good like show that like you could vibe with. It's like I think it's a good family show. I don't know if
And
that
they can
yeah.
they can write teenagers in a way where they're not phony and unrealistic, and they can actually talk about like their mental health problems, and it's not like this like the more you know kind of fucking message bullshit. It's just like yeah,
I
like
love those, the
like a
more
lot
he
of
does
kids
those.
are
Like,
you
yeah,
know
it's true.
are fucked up in some ways, and there might be some of them might be on medication and whatnot. It's like no big deal. It's not like, oh my god, Sally, we must deal with your mental health issues in this. It's like nothing like that. It's not. It's just like it's very casually kind of just mentioned, and they don't make, like I said, they don't make the teenagers unnecessary douchebags, which a lot of them are. Yes, that's true. I was one of them. I was a little douchey teenager one time, but I was also, like not like an idiot like they portray a lot of these teenagers nowadays.
Yeah, if you really want to see a really, really good family drama that will really melt your heart, especially I think Starfleet Boy, I think you would like it. It's a show called Everwood.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Gilmore Girls.
I was gonna say Family Matters.
No.
Family.
It's
Yeah,
a rare
it's,
condition.
Yeah, it's
These days.
You know what I
it's a sh-
started watching from episode 1? It's a different world from where you're coming from. It's so good. It's such a good show. I used to watch that with my mom and dad.
I know
and
my
sister.
parents love
me. Stand behind me, come
what
what may.
Anyway, we cut
I
Marcel
know
off again.
now
And he's
that
gonna
I'm
leave.
ready.
You
Let him
guys always
talk.
do this, so it's fine. No, but
Because I finally found
Okay,
my
okay.
way. Sorry.
You gotta let him talk to you. He's
Oh,
gonna
sorry. Go,
Get, he's gonna
Marcelo.
get angry at you.
Go. Don't be mad, Marcelo. Go.
no, it's your show, so whatever. No, but I think that particularly with your sensibilities, Starfleet Boy, I think you're gonna like it.
What's the show called again? Sorry, I have to.
Everwood.
Everwood. Everwood.
It's on HBO
That's
Max.
what all gay men have is Everwood. There's a multi. I'm just kidding. I don't speak for.
You saying gay men don't have
No.
ED?
I don't speak for. I don't speak for all gay men. That was a joke. Ruben's like, oh, excuse me. like I need to.
So you don't speak for me, sir.
PE says there's a multiverse stuff. There's multiverse stuff in the MCU now, and there's the multiverse in the CW storyline, and then all the multiverse stuff in the new Star Trek stuff coming out. Everything is all multiverse now. It's true the mirror universe counts as the multiverse, but it was the first multiverse.
And by the way, Superman and Lois is all part of all this Flash shit that's coming out in 2022. Because apparently Grant Gustin makes an appearance, just like movie Flash. What's Ezra Miller
Made an
appearance in the
on
TV show.
That's
So
crazy.
it's like even the CW Arrowverse is connected to the DCEU now. It's fucking weird. It's they already established that like a couple of years ago anyway. So
Blue says odd non sequitur, but what is everyone's stance on porn? I am for regulated and accepted and legitimized sex work. I think the porn industry is not going anywhere, and we by not acknowledging it and by treating it as a taboo, we force people to get into situations where they're exploited, unfortunately. So I would love to see porn de-pornified, if you will. I do think that there is, I think things like regulation should be like heavy on porn, because it is like, I do believe that like childhood benefits from not having porn. So I think that there should be like the age restrictions and all that you already have in place. But I do think that the industry is too exploitative, and it's sadly people are not prepared for it and stuff like that. But I'm all for it. Sorry,
yeah.
I got off my soapbox now.
No,
Sex work is work.
I actually love porn. I support porn. A while ago, I was friends with this.
I thought you were gonna say a while ago I was in a porn.
No. A long time ago, I was friends with somebody who was in the porn industry now, and she was very, very, kind and sweet. But we actually never talked about what she did. But I love porn. I watch a little bit too much of it, but I enjoy it and I support it.
Yes, well, I've recently gotten into some of the vintage stuff, like the Taboo series.
Deep Throat.
Deep Throat's hard to find. There's a site.
Really,
that has
the
a lot
original
of,
Deep? I would think it's
get
like
this.
it's...
Can I talk? Please?
Yeah. Sorry.
Can I talk about porn? There's a site that I'm not gonna say, but anyway, it's funny because you can get all of this. Before I say mid '80s probably, all the porn was filmed on like 35 millimeter, 16 millimeter film, right? Mm-hmm. If it's really cheap, it's 8 millimeter. But anyway, now these fuckers are getting remastered. Like there's so many like fully, in HD and fucking 4K, dude.
What?
Remastered porn
IMAX.
from the 70s.
Deep Throat and IMAX. Sorry, go on.
So anyway, there was one. The most recent one was it starts out where the husband, he's like this rich douchebag, and he's got his wife and the neighbor there in the living room, and he's just like, "So you've been fucking my wife, huh?" And the dude's like, "Oh boy," like that. He's like, "Yeah, well now you're gonna fuck her in front of me. I'm gonna take pictures." And like, the dude starts screwing. And the dude, this is like, I don't know, it's 78 or something. I don't know. And the dude starts doing his wife. And he's like, "Yeah, fuck her, yeah." And it's like, so the acting is fucking hilarious, dude. And then later in that same movie, this is gonna sound really bad, but this is the plot. He ties his wife up in the backyard, like where the pool is and everything. And he takes two girls, and he has the two girls like fuck him in front of his wife to get revenge on his wife for the guy she just made him fuck.
Wow, there's like,
you know what I mean? But anyway. And he's like, and he's asking the girls like, "Is that bitch looking? Is she watching? Yeah, take that, you fucking bitch." He's like talking to us. And this is not stuff. This is not stuff I'm getting off on, by the way. This is hilarious. This is like comedy fucking gold.
Here's the
thing about it.
Version of it. Yeah,
they actually tried to make movies. They actually tried to have a beginning with like characters and plot, and there's like dialogue that the actors memorize, but they fucking suck so bad.
Really nice productions now.
Oh, you look back at some of this, like they put fucking effort in. They lit it well, and they had like actual music. You can hear like actual lyrical music in these old movies, like "Baby, I love you." It's like 70s, like people are, and it's not even. It's hilarious. It's just funny. It's not even sexy, I don't think. Except for, like, big natural tits. That's what gets me, but... I hate fake boobs. I hate fake boobs.
Literally anything
not
you
hate,
can think
not
of
hate. That's a
in
strong
terms
word.
of...
I'll suck on them.
Literally anything you can think of in terms of fetish, you can find a porn about that fetish. It's insane.
Yeah, fuck my wife. That's the oldest one in the book. Fuck my wife. Like, oh come on, be creative.
It's called cuckolding, by the way. It's
they didn't even call it that. They didn't have a word for it back then. They never put in the title. They never said the word. It was just like it was fuck my wife porn. Now there's a name on it, right?
Cuckolding, yeah. Well, I think it's just an old term rehashed, and then it's been used. It's used like cuck. Have you ever?
Now it's used as an insult.
As an insult, you're cuck. Yeah,
you're a cuck.
That's crazy, PJ. That's crazy. I remember when I was a kid, there was a very
These two girls are blowing
advanced-
the dude, and he's like asking the girls because he's back onto his wife who's tied up, and she's like, "Untie me, you fucking asshole!" And he's getting like a double blowjob, and he's asking the girls, "Is that bitch looking? Yeah, I hope
was
that
the
bitch is
topic,
watching." I
This
gotta
was
send
the-
you the link to this porn, dude. I gotta
No, I
find it.
can't
I
watch.
gotta
I don't
find
want
it.
to. I don't want to watch.
I gotta
porn.
find it.
I don't want to watch.
Play it on the channel.
No, we're never gonna play porn. Ruben, what's your answer Blue's question? Odd non sequitur, but what is your stance on porn?
Porn is awesome.
Obvious-
Everybody should watch it. And
It can be. It can be a teaching tool in the right context. Like I remember they showed us something in health class that was like a porn.
Why do guys sound like they're getting their arms sawed off when they come in some of these porns? They're like, it's like, dude, you're ruining this whole experience for me.
Ruben,
I wanted to see a woman get come all over her tits, not to hear your fucking ass.
I think PJ said before that he hasn't had physical contact with a lover in 20 years, and I don't know your
That's
status.
changed.
I don't know your
I consider my right one is Sally, the left one is Anne,
Allie and Ann. Those are
and sometimes they work on me both at the same time. It's that bad.
And then your feet are watching, and you're like, "Are those feet watching?" Yeah. Make sure that those bitch feet are watching.
No,
Ruben,
I'm back onto the TV that has a picture of my ex-girlfriend. I'm asking, is that bitch watching?
Marcelo, I don't want you to have to give
I
away
say
any
bitch in the sexy
information.
porn way, not in the derogatory.
Right.
Women
yeah,
are
it's-
bitches. Some women like being called certain things in sexual situations. If you didn't know already,
Oh, dirty talk and like aggressive talk,
subjugating
is,
and all that stuff. People are
that's-
into that shit.
There's
man.
play. It's there's
They're
the,
like, you fucking slut, spit in her mouth.
okay. So question for Ruben, being recently, not recently coupled. You've been coupled for a while now. Is porn like real life at all? Is there any or do you like it, or is porn good because it's not like real life?
I love this can of worms.
Well, my wife's
Ruben,
gonna
don't
be-
answer that. Never mind.
No, come on, do it.
Save yourself. Don't answer this question.
You lost all the viewers with this shit, man.
No, there's still 3 viewers. It's crazy.
I'm watching
Is it
my
just
wife
you
have
guys?
sex with another man right now.
I knew
No, but-
you were gonna go there.
No, but
I wouldn't
but-
trust another man.
but
Like I wouldn't trust a
technically-
man.
Technically,
I don't
this
trust
is not
men
our
in that
fault.
situation.
This is Blue's fault because he's the guy that brought up the question.
Men just want to ram things. They don't care about your comfort.
Wow, that's not true at all.
I don't know.
Just wanna
I don't. If I was ever in a situation, I'd be so scared. If I was like had no other choice, so I'd be like, please don't be one of these like rammers. Please be soft and gentle, and
You have to get-
reasonably sized.
So I like there is a more
I
ethical.
want no pipe
porn.
up me. God damn it.
There's an ethical
I
porn.
know lube and whatnot. Spit on the shit first, at
There's
least.
like a romantic porn I'm really into where like there's a lot of permission going on. So they'll be like, "Do you want me to do this?" Like still aggressive, but it's all permission based, and I love
my
that
God.
because it's cool.
It's like that Larry David episode where he's on a date and he's literally recording him sitting on the couch with the woman. He's like, now I'm going to ask her if I can put my arm around her. This is being recorded for posterity. It's like, and he's like, may I kiss you? And she's like, no, that will not happen tonight. He goes, okay, I believe we've reached an impasse. And he like stops recording.
There's porn video games, man.
What?
Of course.
Oh, I
didn't
love
know
the
about that.
ads. It's like, watch this. It'll make you come in 4
In
seconds.
5 seconds.
Oh no, I'm not even talking about those. I'm talking about legit, like. Okay, so remember Sahel
Oh
back
my
in the
God.
day,
Getting all hot and bothered.
old school Final Fantasy like 16-bit RPG type games.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
where
Yeah,
you're moving around, but
It's
they have a whole relationship component
oh cool.
that involves wooing people and fucking them. And when you fuck them, they show it. Like there's visual novels that are straight up porn. There's turn-based strategy games that are also. There's this one game called I don't remember the name. It doesn't matter. But like you're basically you're Captain Kirk. You run a spaceship full of your babes. And you can woo and fuck the babes as you see fit, and you have to fight aliens at the same time. So The more porn, the merrier,
Oh my
man.
god.
So why is it that why do you think
This is
Why do
truly
you-
after dark.
well, yeah, it's an after dark show. Why why do you think Oh, I can't show that. I was gonna show you. There's a really.
Oh,
I
God.
cannot
What
show
a-
any of this. Never mind. Just imagine in your minds.
You
Just
show, us
imagine-
you show us plenty of stuff off
No,
camera.
no,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Maybe off camera we can
I'm
look at
watching
these.
your
Are we
OnlyFans
seriously gonna
stream,
watch
too.
porn after?
No,
we
we're
get
not gonna
offline?
watch. No, we are
Jesus.
not gonna watch porn together, guys.
I'm
It's
watching
not
your
gonna-
OnlyFans stream.
That's,
and you're
I have to draw the line at that one.
Speaking of OnlyFans, there's some like luminary figures that I follow in the Star Trek community that have OnlyFans in there, and it's awesome. They're like actually, it's insane. I haven't subscribed
They're
to.
naked.
Yeah, naked, like like
yeah, like the
From
William
Star
Shatner
Trek. Who?
one.
Who?
William
Who?
Shatner. Oh, I
No,
think
William
he's okay.
William Shatner reenacts all the fight scenes from TOS in the nude.
I think he's
on his
okay with me.
OnlyFans.
I think he's okay with me giving an unsolicited shout out to his OnlyFans, but
Shout
to
out.
his social media in general. Sean Ferrick from Trek Culture has an OnlyFans. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, I just call it sex work. I know porn has like a bad connotation to it. Like Ruben, for example, says like
Wait.
destruction
That
porn.
dude from Trek Culture has a porn thing.
It's not a porn. It's like only. It's adult. It's an adult. It's
Well,
art. How it's
Well,
art.
What do
It's
you think he's
What is he
doing?
doing?
What do you
Yeah.
think he's doing? Is he showing his twig and berries? It's porn, dude.
I actually don't know.
Look at
'cause I
my
ha-
long nacelle as it powers
Okay,
up for
because
warp
of
drive.
because of this conversation, I'm gonna subscribe to for 1 month to his OnlyFans, and I will.
God.
And you're
I
gonna
will
come
give
on
you-
here and describe his.
I will.
you
I'll
serious?
happily. I'll
No,
happily
no,
describe
God,
it
no,
or tell or
please,
let
no.
you know.
No,
but you can all go
We
find
should
out.
do a watch along.
Nobody wants to see his Irish sausage.
We should do OnlyFans watch alongs every Sunday.
Uh, but yeah, and actually, Starfleet Boy is parked. I have an OnlyFans parked. Nothing is happening on that yet, but I do. Starfleet Boy, you can go right now and follow me on OnlyFans. There is a
Starfleet
parked.
Boy beneath the desk. That's what it's called.
You know what's unfortunate? You see some of these girls out there in the streets, and you're like, you could just be home getting your OnlyFans on the go because, like, you don't need to be out in these streets, girl.
Yeah, but I don't know the internet.
I'm joking.
You
I
know?
don't see girls out in the streets. Like,
Wow,
that.
Ruben
know how
just
to-
became one of the girls.
It's not a place.
Ruben just channeled one
I
of
don't
the
know how to
girls.
use the internet. You know.
Wow,
Does Wayne Brady have to choke a bitch?
Jeremiah, you walked into a frank
Eat your
discussion
sandwich.
about porn, and it's sparked by the
You asked
This
for
is
it.
this is so misogynistic, and like we're talking about women like they're
It would be nice to
sex
have
objects, and we're talking about men like they're sex objects.
It would be nice to
It's
have
all
more.
fair.
It would be nice to have more voices. So maybe we'll do a porn panel with like more people, and some on here in some future time after I subscribe to Sean Ferrick's OnlyFans, which I guess I'll do that tomorrow, so I can report on it next week.
If anything is going to shrink the show, it's going to be this conversation right here.
We still have viewers. It's crazy. I don't know how we still. Have
You know
viewers.
what?
It's really
It's
funny.
considering how much we've talked about over the time, especially before Marcelo was here. This is nothing. Oh boy, we've gotten to some conversations.
Have we? What do you remember?
Oh.
I don't know.
In all fairness, I've only been here. I've only been a part of this little merry band for the past 4 months or so.
Mary Band. I like.
Cadre.
I am not a
I'm
Mary
gonna
Band.
I'm gonna start an OnlyFans. I'm gonna start an OnlyFans where I dress up my member as the salamanders from the Voyager episode.
Threshold.
Threshold.
Which is funny. It's called Threshold. That's funny.
Threshold Martian. That'll be the name of the OnlyFans page.
PE says there's Star Trek porn out there too. People
Oh,
dressed
yeah.
up into us. So that's what I was
yeah,
gonna.
hell
I was
yeah.
gonna look for like a rated PG-13 or R picture from the gay Star Trek porn, which features like really big gay industry.
There's
I
a
thought it was
Buffy
a really
porn.
big gay something else.
Yeah, that too.
Penis.
But I looked up pictures and it's funny. I didn't know you could see that kind of pictures. Well, I guess I don't have filters. I have.
What do you mean
I have no
pictures?
filters.
Like what?
I just typed in gay Star Trek on Google and like a lot of things
Oh.
came up that you can't show on this show. Like we're not NC-17, so we can't show it. YouTube would definitely shut down.
There's
my
a
channel
really
if I did that.
really gross, disgusting Star Trek porn parody of DS9 from like I don't know. It had to have been the early '90s, but like the quality of the tape was just like fucking awful. and it was just the grossest. Like everybody was like gross in it, and like there was people in Ferengi masks, and all the Ferengis had two penises,
Oh my god.
and
Which
like,
now
it was-
Klingons do have two penises.
Yeah.
That's like a real thing.
I've seen a Buffy porn. I've seen True Blood porn.
Wow.
most
Oh,
porn is
yeah.
actually quite disgusting. I don't
Pretty
know if
much
anybody
any
else feels
TV
that
show
way,
that gets
but most of
popular
it,
enough gets turned into a porn.
I can't even look at half the thumbnails of some of these fucking things. I find it's just generally disgusting. I used to love like the soft core stuff that used to come on the movie networks. Like,
Like-
you know,
Oh, I
now,
remember-
now it's hardcore. They
Like,
show the hardcore stuff on
like,
TV.
I never
Yeah.
watched
Like
it, but I
Skinamax?
remember all my friends when I was in high school were really into the Red Shoe Diaries. Is that David
Yeah,
Duchovny? or
yeah,
something?
yeah, like that and the Hitchhiker, and I remember the first adult show I ever watched that was like a comedy called Dream On.
Oh,
that
yeah, Dream On.
occasionally
That was
had
a great show.
nudity and stuff.
These were on Skinamax, right?
Dream On was HBO, wasn't it?
If you-
Oh,
Anthony Starr, Banshee is a show that he starred in for a number of seasons. He plays Homelander on The Boys. Yeah, that show is like softcore sometimes, dude. They
Which
just
show?
Banshee.
Banshee.
He has like a lot of sex. Like he screws every girl he comes across in that show. But there's one particular girl in it, and they do. It's very you could say like gratuitous in the sense that like they'll have like a whole scene where a girl's like on the bed, you know, pleasuring herself with some like rock music intercut with like an action scene. You're just like, this is unnecessary.
Slap her on the ass. Slap. Good. Okay,
It's
sorry.
It's not one of those
Wow,
shows that's
Ruben.
sensitive to sensitive people in terms of sex. It's very like fucking like it's a dude show in the sense that it might offend some people in the way women are portrayed.
This is the show Banshee.
Even though the women are badass, some of the
Yeah,
women
that's it.
like, you know, they're not like weak. I'm not saying, but like I'm saying, it's one of these things where like it's like the Kirk syndrome where like the woman's always got to fall for the dude, and like fuck him.
It's on HBO Max right now.
And so you see Homelander naked on the show? I might have to check it out.
Yeah, you see a lot of people naked, but
Oh, I might have to go check Homelander.
the show has a high degree of nudity.
Uh,
But it's actually
Yeah.
it's actually a really like hardcore action, like bare knuckles kind of show.
It's
do you guys think that Star Trek Discovery crossed the line with Klingon tatas and a sex scene?
It crossed the line with
I never
Klingons.
need to see that
Period.
again.
It didn't. The weird Klingon titties or nipples didn't mean shit because they weren't Klingons anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Father, he's gonna tell us. I forgot to send him the link. Let me tell. He's gonna tell us about STLV. Yay! And his steak. I hope it was good. It's on its way, Father.
We can stop talking about porn.
Yeah, we were talking. we were talking about Father. you
Blue,
walked
Blue
in,
knows
you
how
said-
to. Blue knows how to instigate a conversation.
Yeah, Blue, that was a good job. You did a really good job.
My
on,
mind's
here-
not right tonight. I got the Moderna earlier.
Link inbound. Here we go. You got the Moderna. How are you feeling, by the way?
Okay.
The Moderna man.
I slept after I got home, and then I had a headache, and now my headache's gone, and that's it.
Nice.
Yeah, when I had my 2 shots, the only thing when I had my second shot, the only thing I had was some soreness around the injection site, but I felt kind of sluggish for like a couple hours, but then I was fine.
Yeah.
Not to say that
The
anybody asked
woman
my
told
opinion.
me, she's like, if you're planning on traveling internationally, I suggest you wait to get another Pfizer because I got the Pfizer first and then I got the Moderna. And I was like, well, I don't plan on traveling internationally. She's like, yeah, we don't understand that. She's like, it's crazy. She was actually saying, like, being legit with me. It's like, it's crazy how you can still get fully vaccinated and yet there's still these weird rules around.
Hey guys,
You're on the roof.
are you on the roof? The roof. The roof. The roof is on fire.
But
Well,
you're-
you better
Oh,
hope
wow.
not. You better hope
Oh,
it's not on
wow.
fire,
What?
man. That's so awful.
It's so dark. They
We could. We
Oh
can
my
see
god,
you
he
and
looks
we
like
They
one
want
of
to be able
those
to see me.
things from
Look at that.
Look at that beautiful image.
You look like you
Oh,
look like
wow.
analog. Oh my god, that's crazy.
wow.
Yeah, and
That's nice. It keeps freezing though.
Oh,
that's the city of Las Vegas.
It's very
Did it set your soul on fire?
What?
it's nice to see you.
I heard
We
you
asked,
said
did it
something
set
about
your
catching
soul
on
on
fire.
fire? No, did it set your soul on
Guess
fire?
who I just saw?
Who?
Guess who I just saw coming up on the balcony? The good Savick,
John DeLon.
Robin Curtis.
Oh,
nice.
wow.
Robin Curtis. Nice.
Cool. Did you see Kelsey Grammer yet?
No, Christy Alley.
See who?
Did you see Kelsey Grammer? Kelsey Grammer?
Nah,
Did you
I
see
don't
Kelsey
know.
Grammer?
I've not seen him at all. Actually, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
How is the steak?
Is the bar up there open?
They're
Why
looking
are
for
there peop-
drinks.
This
It
5
looks-
steaks
It, it looks like they're there alone.
on this roof now. My internet might be really choppy.
It is choppy. How is the steak?
So
How is the
the
steak?
steak is really good. It was one of the top 5 steaks I've ever ate.
Oh, nice.
Was it a Gordon Ramsay
So there's
steak?
like a helicopter now.
They're coming to get you, Fathery.
Oh my
Your-
God.
Your subspace chat. This
Oh,
is
no.
Fathery live from STLV.
If my internet is really bad, you can boot me off because I don't want to like ruin your show.
Were you
Like,
listening to
uh,
our porn conversation?
Were you listening to our porn conversation at all?
Oh, that happened already,
No,
so
I
don't worry
just-
about that.
I just like came on, and the first thing I heard was PJ saying like, "Oh shit, Father is here. We better stop talking about porn." I didn't even hear what you were talking about before that.
That's hilarious. We still have people listening, so this is cool that we have a report from STLV. It's funny that you have to keep putting your ear up to the camera so we see your ear. It's amazing, and then we see Las Vegas. It's funny. Father, go enjoy the rest of your
Yeah.
dinner, and
Yeah, you don't have to.
go enjoy the rest of
time
your
with us.
dinner, and like have a drink for us, and send us pictures so we can put them up on the screen here.
Okay. Well,
All
hey,
right.
I was good checking in with y'all. I'm in cosplay. I'm Ensign Fathery.
They let you
Can't tell.
in. That's cool. They let you have dinner in the cosplay.
But
They
I
let-
didn't hear a word of that.
Oh.
But
Oh, I said they-
I'll go. But I just wanted to check in. So
Thank you for checking in, and I'm glad they let you stay in the cosplay. I'm glad they let you stay in the cosplay. I'm glad they let
I didn't
you
hear
stay.
any of that. You like cosplay or something? I don't know. That's all I heard.
Look in the chat.
I'm gonna show y'all the view.
Okay.
And then you can kick me off.
All right.
All right.
Go. Do it. Look at that.
Wow, that's a great view.
That is a pretty cool view.
Wow, look at the lights. Sorry.
PJ, would you go to Las Vegas?
No.
No.
It's very pretty.
I've seen it enough in the movies.
Oh, look at that. It's like a legit roof tower.
Wow,
Whoa.
it's like a rocket. Oh my god.
That looks hella fun. That looks great.
That looks great. All right, go have dinner. Man.
All right, Fathery out.
Bye.
That was awesome. We got a live report from Las Vegas. We stopped talking about porn. It's great.
He shared. Father shared a video earlier today where, I can't remember.
John
who it was.
Billingsley. It was John
yeah.
Billingsley. It's really funny. Go check it
Yeah,
out on
with the-
Twitter.
Yeah, with the. Yeah, I won't tell you what is in the video, but it was really fucking funny. That really gave
John
me my only
Billingsley.
seriously, like, it was like my only seriously fun laugh of the day. He's like, it's like,
That's it.
yeah, that's it.
Connor Trenier Pictures, one thin motherfucking dime. One thin motherfucking dime gets you a beautiful Connor Trenier picture. Connor Trenier picture, give me fucking anything. I can't give them away. Connor Trenier pictures. He hasn't had this big a line all weekend. Connor Trenier pictures.
That's hilarious. He's so funny.
Fucking tell him I did this.
It's
John
got
Valencia's
3,388 views now.
Oh, that's
Oh,
amazing.
great.
That's cool.
Oh, that's
Very
great.
cool. By the way, if you guys don't know what was going on Text Trek, Father said he was going to go to the rooftop of this hotel and have a delicious steak and some drinks, and that was him and Antonia, I think, that we saw in the beginning. So they're having a lot of fun. It sounds like that's fun. He's also going to be on the Star Trek cruise. Father's like super into the events. I love it.
Oh, really? He's gonna be
Yeah.
on this? Oh, cool. I wonder.
Oh, and he'll be at Star Trek Chicago, which will be my first official Star Trek only convention. I've been to other conventions, but not
Are you
a Star Trek
gonna
only one.
Are you gonna do like does your trip to the Star Trek convention in Chicago fall, like, does it intersect with the Friday? Because I was wondering, are you gonna like do the show from Chicago?
Oh, really good. Good question. It does intersect. I will not do a show that night. I'm just gonna since it's my very first, I'll record footage and maybe play it on like the next weekend or something like that. But yeah, thanks for asking, because that's a good question.
You're gonna give us a night off, so I appreciate that.
You get the
I'd be
night
so
off.
afraid to go to Chicago.
Really?
I've
I've been to Chicago. Chicago's awesome.
Chicago,
awesome.
I'd be afraid to run into the Bears.
I'm super looking forward to Deep Dish Pizza.
Or
Ruben,
Mike
have
Lindell.
you been to Chicago?
No, I haven't.
Marcel, you been to Chicago?
Been to
No,
Vegas.
I've been to Chicago.
You've been to
I've been-
Vegas though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been to
Vegas.
Texas. Father will like that.
Been to Texas.
I first became aware of Chicago because of Siskel and Ebert, because they would be like,
Right. The
I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune,
Sun Times.
and I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
Oh, it was
Our
the other
first
way,
film today is La Femme Nikita.
I love that specific. The specific opener.
So,
I
you
first
guys-
became aware of Chicago because of the movie The Untouchables.
oh, I love that movie. Oh my god.
For
I'm
me, it
just
was
an Irish
geography
speed cop.
class.
I'm from Ireland.
Yeah.
Irish speed cop who sounds Scottish. What is it? There's a line in that. There's a really good line he says. I forget.
He says they put one of yours in the hospital. We send one of theirs to the morgue.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. But,
Elliot Ness.
yeah, you're gonna say. You got no bookkeeper. You got nothing. You're nothing but a cop with a badge. You're nothing but a cop with a badge. You and the fucking. Yeah, sorry.
That's good.
Sorry.
That movie's brutal.
I don't think
no,
Kevin
no.
Costner is a good actor.
Really?
I don't like him. I don't care for his acting.
I loved him in Robin
Okay.
Hood, Prince of Thieves. By the way, Steve Shives just did a video. I haven't watched it yet, but Steve Shives just did a shit video.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because I was just about to say that. What's his face? T. Shive did a video about Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves today. You saw it, right?
Prince of Thieves. I was obsessed with that movie when I was a kid. I watched it over and over again. Christian Slater was so hot and big at the time. I remember mostly the girls and a couple of guys like myself were super excited about Christian Slater and thought he looked so hot in the movie.
No,
In
for
what
me-
Teen
movie?
Beat
So
magazine.
hot.
Yeah,
He was so hot.
me-
Teen Beat
well,
magazine.
No, what movie are you talking about?
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves,
Oh yeah, I forgot. He was also he had a little cameo in
and Star Trek 6.
Star Trek 6.
Yeah.
The best movie I've ever seen him in, and it's like I just think it's like just the overall best movie is a movie called Pump Up the Volume.
Oh yeah, it's
Which
like,
when I
his
first
most
started-
famous role. Yeah.
When I watched it, I remember watching it thinking, "Oh, this is like corny, fucking like melodramatic teenage depression bullshit." But by the end, that's a really fucking affecting movie, dude. Like it's really well made.
And
He's very good in it too. I mean,
Yeah.
he has like a
Really?
voice modulator thing. He's kind of like proto Doomcock. But no, I'm joking.
Oh, maybe.
You
Still
know,
acting, and
you
he's
can't find
great.
that movie anywhere.
Oh, really? Pump Up the Volume?
Yeah, you can't find it anywhere.
You can always find movies on Google Play or something like that.
Oh, weird.
Usually,
No,
or
but-
Amazon Prime. I don't know.
No, but I'm totally. It's not like on any other. Major...
Swear to God, Hellraiser 3. It's the only Hellraiser I like, and I like it because Terry Farrell's in it too.
This
But
isn't.
I couldn't find it for the longest fucking time, and I was like, I can't find it anywhere. Like, you literally couldn't even rent it. You could rent the first two, and it's like this third one was so elusive. And all of a sudden, it like popped up on Shudder, and I'm like, oh, okay.
This is super late, but is They Live a zombie movie?
No, it's an alien invasion film.
Alien invasion film. So that's what the text message audience was talking about when you were talking about alien invasions. Invasions. That's cool.
Speaking of Terry Farrell, you know what series is really hard to find? The one that she had to take because fucking Rick Berman made her quit on DS9 with the one she did like a medical drama comedy with Ted Danson, and I can't like.
Oh,
fucking
Becker.
find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't fucking.
Becker
find
is
it.
on either when I had CBS All Access, well, in Canada, they had all the I think Becker was one of them. Like they had all
Really?
of Becker on there.
Okay,
So
well,
it could
I
be
got-
on Paramount Plus. You should check that.
My mom
Unless
used to
it's
watch
NBC, and then it would be Peacock. So I'm not sure.
All right, well, I
Different
gotta-
licensing in Canada, so I don't know who owns
Yeah,
what.
yeah. If anybody can give me a good idea of where I can find that. Oh, this they live.
I can figure
Check
it out.
the garbage.
Becker. Wow.
Just kidding.
Jesus.
I never
Thanks,
watched
Ruben.
Sean.
I watched
I
the show's not
appreciate
bad. I watched
you.
a couple of seasons of that.
Okay, well,
It lasted
I'm-
6 seasons. It was actually fairly popular.
My mom loved Becker. I don't think I ever saw an episode, but she.
I
loved that
I
show.
love seeing Terry Farrell. That's actually I didn't
No,
even care.
no,
I hated
that-
Cheers at the time.
no.
I ended up loving Cheers after. I didn't give a fuck about Ted Danson. Only watched it because Dax was in it.
no, that's why I want to see the show. Like I love Ted Danson too from Cheers, but I want to see the show because of Terry Farrell. So that's why I'm bringing it up.
Dude, it should. Starfleet Boy, can you check your Paramount Plus? I'm pretty sure it's on there.
Okay, I'll check it. For Becker, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, Becker. Yeah.
Because
P-
when I had CBS All Access, it was there. It was like the whole show.
Parentheses I says I like to view Pump Up the Volume as being a prequel to the Mr. Robot series. Christian Slater plays the same like literally the same character. Or you mean like similar?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, okay. All right, let me log into Paramount
Pump
Plus.
up the volume. Remember that sound?
That'd be cool if like I heard Mr. Robot's really great. I haven't actually watched more than a couple episodes. I go back to that.
I did watch that show and I liked it. I think I watched most of the first season. But I'm telling you, Rami Malek, who's awesome, dude, wonderful actor. I really got sick of looking at his blank stares. And it's just like it's kind of like with Handmaid's Tale, which is a wonderful show, but they do so many extreme close-ups on angry faces. Like you can literally just do a montage of that for 10-15 minutes of just like really uncomfortably close-up shots of somebody looking almost directly at the camera, infuriated or something, or like ready to snap. It's like a lot of that.
Interesting.
Some shows have like those kind of weird stylistic choices.
All
that
right,
they
I
do.
typed Becker
Star
and
Trek
Lower
with the
Decks
lens
came
flare,
up.
for example.
Yeah.
I typed Becker on Paramount Plus and it says, we could not find that. How do you spell Becker?
Son of a bitch.
How do you spell
I
it?
guess it's not on there. I guess
It's
Paramount Plus actually does suck.
BECKER.
Yeah, that's what I wrote. BECKER.
Yeah, no, I gotta.
But
see
it knew to recommend Lower Decks because of Beckett Mariner, maybe? That's weird.
It
Or
could
it's
be
just
that.
recommending it because
It's
new.
funny how they own the fucking shit. It was on.
Yeah.
It was on there.
No, I gotta. But I gotta. See
Actually,
if
you know what? I can look up CBS. I can look up Paramount Plus on mine right now and see if it's there. I don't have it. A
Yeah,
subscription though.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
also
yeah.
advertising Love Island season 3 episode 1 for me,
I don't.
which is
care
weird.
about Love Island.
I've never watched
ParamountPlus.com.
it. It has a lot of episodes though.
Yeah.
Wowzers. What is Love Island? Oh, but cool. Drag Race is all on here. I gotta. Drag Race All Stars. I gotta watch this.
Mhm.
RuPaul's amazing. She looks amazing. All right.
Sorry for taking
anyways.
us on this tangent, guys. Looking for this random show.
But yeah, that's cool. I gotta watch Mr. Robot in earnest. I hear it's a great show. And didn't Remy Malik win like a ton of awards for that? All of
Yes,
them,
he
the whole show.
did.
He won
Same
the
kind
blank.
of character.
He won the best blank stare award.
He's great as Freddie Mercury. He's superb as Freddie Mercury. He did an amazing job in.
Yeah,
He
his
was
teeth were a little
amazing.
much though.
So were Freddie Mercury's, but yeah.
No, well, I mean, the difference between him and Freddie Mercury is that it didn't look more natural on him. With Rami Malek, it looks like big old dentures in his mouth. It's hard to achieve that effect without. I mean, they wanted to show that he had that overbite, but I guess they tried to have some balance there. It didn't work for me though. But he did definitely deserve that. Academy Award. Definitely, the Golden Globe doesn't mean shit. But
No, the Academy Award doesn't.
yeah.
I meant to ask.
Academy Awards got a little bit more gravitas.
Gravitas. It's a good number.
Despite
Give
what
it
you may
more
think, it's all
weight.
bullshit. It's all essentially
Like that
bullshit.
subspace frequency that has gravitas, from lower decks. Ruben, what game have you been playing tonight? I forgot to ask you.
Tonight I've just been playing City Skylines.
What is that? What is City Skylines?
It's SimCity basically, but
Oh, okay. Oh, but better.
Weren't you,
City Skylines.
weren't you playing that like last week too?
He plays it a lot, probably. I think.
yeah, this is my relaxing game.
Oh, I love it. So you come on here and you relax with us. That's cool.
Wow,
Those-
Paramount Plus in Canada is even shittier than it was before. So yeah, I'm not finding anything on here now.
I gotta see if I can find.
It's pretty
Ruben,
bad.
what
though,
have
isn't it?
you seen that's new that we probably haven't seen, like on TV?
I finished season 3 of Rust Masters, Rust to Riches Car Masters.
What is that?
Oh, that's,
Rust to
um,
It's
Riches.
a
That's
show
on
where they
Netflix,
take a
right?
car and they.
I'm never gonna
soup it up.
respect your opinion about Star
It's
Trek
on Netflix,
Picard
right?
ever. No, I'm
Do you-
sorry.
Do you,
go on.
do you
What
remember
is it?
Pimp My Ride?
But yeah, it's kind of like Pimp My Ride, but the cars are actually usable after, not fucking
not jokes.
monstrosities.
Yeah.
Is Pimp My Ride available? I never watched that when it actually aired. I'm sure you
It's
can
like
find it. Right?
let's put a PlayStation 2 in your front seat.
I watched a 4-part documentary on math, on the history of maths, on
Nice.
Curiosity Stream. Anybody have Curiosity
Maps?
Stream?
You have Curiosity
Cool.
Stream? That's cool.
It's awesome.
Are you gonna watch? Are you
You're
gonna
some
watch
kind of
Cocaine
college guy.
Cowboys?
Am I
on
gonna-
Netflix?
Oh, the new one?
Yeah,
Probably.
It's good.
I watched the original movie.
yeah. You should check it out. Local filmmaker too. Who
What movie?
did that?
Brendan
Cocaine. There's a
Oh, Cocaine Cowboys.
yeah, Cocaine Cowboys. It's about the cocaine cartels in the 70s and 80s. What else are you watching? What else? You're right. I haven't heard of any of those. I haven't been watching. like this.
Well, For All
Ruben
Mankind,
literally
though,
lives
this
in a
week-
different world from me. What's that?
For All Mankind, though, this week I didn't get to
Oh,
watch it.
I gotta watch.
Now, can
that.
you tell us like what you think of that in like some detail? And please don't lie.
No, please don't lie.
Ted
If you're
Lasso.
gonna,
Don't lie.
I watched Ted
if you're
Lasso.
gonna no,
Ted
if you're gonna
Lasso's
break our
awesome. I
hearts,
love
do
Ted
not
Lasso.
lie.
Yeah, give us the scoop on For All Mankind. What are your thoughts on that one? And why do you guys think Ruben lies?
Because he fudges his opinion. He'd be like, "Oh, agreeing with you about something." He's like, then he'll reveal, "I never watched it." Wow.
Oh, okay, that's what you mean. The trickster. Stop
The
being
trickster.
a trickster, Ruben.
Stop being a Loki.
Be
Loki,
honest, Ruben.
Tell us what you
Honesty.
think. Tell us what you think of it.
I bet
Honestly,
you he likes it a lot.
The
For All Mankind,
Yeah.
it's alright. It's a cool show. So far, I like it. I like it a lot.
Alright.
You're
Nice
gonna keep
production
watching it,
value.
I guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely well acted. I mean, I'm not a fan of Joe Kinnaman, but there's other characters I can enjoy on the show.
He's an unlikable character in the show. That's the thing.
He's just an unlikable actor to me.
And
I
then,
can't
but yeah,
stand
I get that. I understand that. But in the actual character himself,
Yeah, the
is-
character himself
is
doesn't
not. He's like he's so one of these old school dads who like no guff, no fucking crime.
Aren't they based on real people? Isn't like Buzz-
yeah.
No,
Well,
They're
his
fictionalized.
character-
some are fictionalized
his character was
amalgamations
created
of
for
other
the show.
people and stuff like that.
I hope. To me, a lot of it's gonna hinge on where the fuck the whole Mexican immigrant little girl storyline's gonna go.
Oh, that gets better.
So if that's
They have a plan.
plan.
Let's just say they have a plan with that. They have a plan with that whole
no.
thing.
That's
Yes,
it feels like
yes.
it. So that's
They
why
have
I'm
a
dealing
plan.
with it.
Because when I was watching it at first, I was like, when they kept cutting to this immigrant family stuff, kept waiting in each episode for it to connect, and then it doesn't. And you're like, what's going on here? And then it makes sense. It starts to make sense.
Yeah, they have a plan. So if you
It may seem a little superfluous or arbitrary. I don't know what words I'm using, but yeah.
What season are we
I'll
on
pay
on
off.
For All Mankind?
There's 2, right?
There's 2 seasons.
Yeah,
It's-
10,
it's
10
like-
episode season.
10 episodes. I gotta catch up on it. I gotta do it. I gotta
So
figure this
damn
out.
Looking
good,
forward to.
bro.
I'm probably gonna resubscribe to Apple TV because I want to watch Foundation.
Oh yeah, it's coming soon.
So-
Yeah,
Harry
that
Seldon.
looks, that looks trippy.
I will
Have
take
you
my
seen
picture of
Raised by Wolves?
I have not. I have HBO Max. I should probably put that in my.
We were obsessed with it. Yeah.
That's a great show, dude. Oh man, covers familiar ground in terms of fucking like AI and shit, but it has some weird ideas. Like it's about basically androids raising human children, and the whole history with the androids and how like they.
So it's like
It was
Mother
one of
on
these
Netflix.
typical things where they turned against their masters and whatnot. They became
anybody
too
watch that?
advanced and what show?
I think it was called Mother on Netflix.
Oh yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned that because there's Mother and Father on Raised by
Mother.
Wolves, but I did see that movie Mother. I thought that was interesting. I like, I
Are you
just
talking about-
I
are you
just
talking
thought the
about
Are
ending.
you
Yeah,
talking about the
last week
Jennifer
one?
Lawrence movie?
Yeah, that was good.
No,
Oh my
wait, I'm confused.
God.
I'm saying the wrong name. Hold on a second.
You guys heard
It's
this
a
one?
shit. There was a movie on Netflix about a little girl who's raised by
A robot.
an AI,
Yeah,
and it turns
artificial
out
intelligence
that the
robot.
world is all
Oh,
fucked
okay.
up, and there's like an AI army out there. And I think Hilary Swank's in it.
It's Hilary Swank. Yeah,
Are
sorry.
you thinking about Away?
No,
No.
he's talking about Mother.
There is a Netflix sci-fi series with Hilary Swank called Away where she goes to Mars, but that's not the
No,
same.
not that one.
No.
It's
Oh,
not
and
Hilary Swank. then.
PE's totally right. Raised by Wolves has a theme of atheism versus religion.
Oh yeah, there's
That's
a whole
throughout
thing
it,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's called Mother. The thing you're thinking of.
I am Mother. That's
I
what it's
am
called.
Mother.
I am Mother.
Okay.
There you go.
But I want to
I
watch.
am
I want to
Mother,
watch Raised
hear
by
me
Wolves, and
roar.
I want to watch. I want to finish watching because I never finished watching it when
Yeah.
I had HBO Max before. Was the HP Lovecraft series.
Oh, Lovecraft Country.
yeah, I wanted to see that
Lovecraft
too.
Country.
I didn't know
Lovecraft
this movie
Country-
existed. I'm gonna watch this.
Lovecraft Country, I wanted
is
to see that.
so,
It's really good.
so good. It is so weird and so good. That's all I'll say about that.
That's all
All
I have
right.
to say about that.
We're coming up on the 3 hour mark. We got to figure out a way to sign off for tonight. What are we gonna do, guys? Are we gonna read scripts? Are we gonna tell people what we're
Good
doing on
night.
our
How about
channels?
that?
Are we gonna finally talk about Lower Decks? Marcelo's been waiting all night. PJ and I have talked about it like 17 times already. So
I haven't
No,
talked about
no,
it.
no. Well, technically, the other day, all you guys did was that short review on Starfleet because I was watching it. Because the only reason I know what the two of you thought is because I watched that video that you guys did.
and I just talked about it on Text Track tonight.
Well, I love it, and I don't have any complaints whatsoever.
You should be a voice actor. I wish they would hire you to do voice work. You're so good at it.
Yeah. No, No, I mean, to make a long story short, I enjoyed the first episode of season 2 of Star Trek Lower Decks. I just wanted a little bit more out of it, and I didn't care that much for the Tendi and Rutherford storyline. I thought that Tendi was a little bit over the top and a little bit like just really annoying
Yeah.
to go to one of PJ's points. And on that same note, I do think that I would like to see them get romantic at some point on the show. Between Tendi and Rutherford, because I do think that her feelings toward Rutherford, specifically in this episode, is really, on her sleeve. I don't know whether it's because she thought that she's just going to lose him as a friend, or she thinks about him romantically. That's the only question that I have going through my head with them right now.
Well, I think it really is. She doesn't like the fact that he's dating this person that he's already dated and hasn't worked out. On top of the fact that she's jealous, she doesn't want him to get with this girl. She's in love with him, obviously.
Yeah. Okay.
And she's using the whole brain thing that she shows Mariner as an excuse. And she even admits as much at the end, but she does say there is something wrong with you. But she doesn't know, like, she can't really pinpoint what. And, it's like funny. He realizes, I don't like peaches. Fuck peaches. That's funny stuff. But
yeah,
the
fuck
whole thing
pears,
about
yeah.
her being obsessive and like over the top, it's like that was already an episode with with the religious dude who ascended. That was all.
Yeah.
That was just a repeat of that episode. And then on top of that, you had the whole mother-daughter thing between Mariner and her mother, And yes, they're trying to get along, but they're still like that blah 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 back and forth. At some point, you're like, I've already seen a couple of episodes with all of this crap in it. Like, you don't need to keep. It's weird. It's like, I know Mariner throughout the whole season is probably just going to be like just butting up against people all the time for no reason, and being like, I'm going to do whatever I want, and the captain's going to be like, blah 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 blah. I'm going to transfer you. I'm going to throw you in a and that's going to be like, there needs to be some kind of like, development there. Not that the character should essentially just change. I'm just saying they should learn some lessons along the way.
No, but I do think to steal one of the points that you guys talked about in your chat, I do think that Mike McMahon is going to gradually change Mariner. She's going to, for the lack of a better word, grow up a little bit. Still be, the Mariner that we love and know, but she's going to get a little bit
Just
more,
not as inconsiderate of other people's feelings.
Yeah, because right now she's for God's sakes, she completely disrespected Ransom on the planet, and she wouldn't give him a pad. Come on, really?
That's a command issue too, because that's essentially the captain's fault. I don't like how Freeman's being portrayed as like this incredibly weirdly irresponsible captain who's like doing like obvious favors for her daughter. Like, it doesn't look good, even in like a stupid.
It's not a good look. I think it's gonna come to a head.
Yeah.
Blue says
I think
Simpsons
it did in
season
this
1.
episode. They kind of resolve it where they both admit that they don't want to play the charade.
Play that charade.
And they want to go back to the old ways, but I just don't want the old ways to keep repeating where she's like, Mariner, more contraband hidden on my ship. And it's like, oh, Mom, who cares? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, yeah.
Enough.
Can we move on from this? Like,
I disagree with everything you guys said.
I hear you, bro. I hear you, man.
Blue says Simpsons season 1 compared to LDS season 1. I can't remember Simpsons season 1. I've seen so many seasons of
You
Simpsons.
don't remember Bart gets an F?
Dude,
No, I don't
did,
remember
sorry.
it actually. And I watched it. I totally watched it when it aired. Do you remember season 1 of Simpsons, Ruin?
You don't remember the one where he cuts the head off of the statue of Jebediah Springfield?
I do remember that, but I couldn't
I
tell you
remember
it was season 1.
episodes, like specific episodes, but I don't remember seasons.
Is it even fair to compare Simpsons and Lower Decks?
No.
No,
I don't know why you would.
The Simpsons season 2 is actually really fucking good. If you just like, they do a soft reboot on like the animation and the writing style a little bit, and it becomes a different thing season 2 on. Season 1 is a very odd Simpsons season. Like, it really stands out.
It's more like the Tracy Ullman show, Simpsons.
Yeah, it's got that kind of like very crude.
I forgot that they were
much
born
cruder
on that. That's interesting. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
But once they get into the third season and fourth season, they start to get into like really dynamic kind of animation with different perspectives and like kind of like playing around with the animation direction a bit more. And then it gets a little stale going, like season 8, and then until it gets into the HD, then it starts improving again. It's funny how The Simpsons had this like really shitty period. I'm watching it right now on Disney Plus. Like the period, it's like season 10 to 15 or something, where it's like the animation's a little subpar. Just in general for that period of time. The transition, it's like when they started digitally coloring stuff, but they weren't digitally drawing it yet, and then they went
Did
into
The Simpsons start out as cell animation? Like, is that how they were
obviously,
doing it?
yes. That's
I
the
didn't
way they had
realize
to do it
that.
back then.
I
Back
didn't
in the olden
realize that.
days.
What is cell animation?
Cell animation is where you you start out on a piece of paper drawing the different frames and you animate the characters, and it's drawn with pencil typically, or like blue or whatever. It's drawn in pencil typically, and then you overlay that with a piece of acetate. It's clear, basically a piece of clear plastic, and in the ink and paint department, they trace over the pencil animation, and they create the lines basically. So they do that, and then so that's the inking part, and then the painting part is that they actually paint in the characters. And so the cells are these clear frames, basically just like film, with the character. Each frame is a work of art, each cell is a work of art, and what you do is you lay the cell on top of a background, take a picture, do that 24 times and you have motion, and that's how they do it. It was like very like complicated and tedious, but beautiful. It was art. It's art.
It's
It's an,
super impressive how you made all that up right now.
did I make it all up? It's not
No.
right. I was right, right?
Yeah,
No, it's like-
I studied animation like for a little while. So it's like no way.
And sometimes an individual character like Homer would have multiple cells on, like, say if his mouth was moving and nothing else needed to move, there would just be like a single like a cell of just his mouth that they would then place over like the model and just photograph the mouth movement. And then if his arm
Yeah, there
had
were a
to
lot of
move, there was a
shortcuts that you
separate
took on
cell
TV,
for his
yeah.
arm to move if nothing else was moving. But
Right.
if they had whole body movement, that's when it was just one cell of the animated character moving in sequence. But then if it was like stopped or something, or like characters were kind of like in the background, they would move a little bit. It was fucking complicated, man. I used to watch all this shit behind the scenes, how painstaking that shit was. On top of having to draw it, and then you have to trace it, and then you have to color it, and then you have to organize the person who organizes the cells and like the sequence and how they timed it and stuff was always like fascinating to me. Like there's a episode of Movie Magic that covers a Simpsons episode and how they
Oh,
do
and they
the
go
sound
through the-
design, and it's fucking
wow.
amazing. And it's the first time you ever see the actual film of the episode projected on a big screen, and it looks like a fucking movie. Like you actually see it in the behind the scenes thing, and it's like, man, the quality of the episode looks way better.
Wow.
Like in the actual studio when they're doing the sound stuff, because they're actually projecting the film that they filmed it on.
You can't really tell too well, but like you can kind of see it up here. So the background is like a piece of paper or whatever, so that whole background, and then the piece of plastic that's here has just the characters on painted and inked on it. And then you can see, so I guess this is one that they sold or something, but you can see how like it's just a piece of plastic, and that, you know, that it's pretty cool.
Wow, that's awesome.
Check out some documentaries on animation.
Cool. Oh,
from-
I do have one thing to say. I know not a lot of people watch the Orville here, but did you see that they finally finished?
Wait, did you say, I know not a lot of people watch the Orville here?
Yeah.
How do you know that? We all watch the Orville.
I watched the Orville.
Except Ruben. Ruben's a lot of people, though.
All right, so
He
when
has
I said
he has
that,
all
rewind.
of Krypton. He
I
has
watched
all of
season 1 of
Krypton.
the Orville.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Screw it.
Yeah. Like, what's wrong? What was that
there
statement?
was
about? I
an-
know a lot of
okay.
people don't watch the Orville here. What's that all
No.
about?
No.
Was that a judgment? Were you judging us?
No, I was not judging.
Oh, okay.
It's
Go on.
just
Sorry.
this.
Carry on.
I felt judged.
I felt
every-
judged too.
Shut up. Every no one can even say it. Like every time I bring the Orville up on any panel that I'm in, I'm just the only loser that brings up the Orville every time. So that's why I said it.
Well,
Here is
that-
the
that
problem.
didn't- that
Here is the
hasn't changed
problem
tonight.
with the Orville. Here's the problem.
But it just wants to
I'll
be
tell you the
Star Trek.
problem with the whole franchise. No, the thing is that it's been co-opted by a section of fandom that love it, and it's a legitimate love for the show. But they do this thing where it's like, this is my new Star Trek. It's like, no, it's the Orville.
No,
Let it
it's
be the
not.
Orville. Let it be
Let
its
it be
own
the
thing. You
Orville.
don't have to
Don't
keep
let it be Star
saying
Trek.
that it's Star Trek, because it's not fucking Star Trek. It is like Star Trek. It is inspired by Star Trek. It certainly rips off a lot of Star Trek.
But it's
And
not
you
Star
could
Trek.
say pay homage. I like to say pay homage because I like the show. I like the characters. I like the stories. You don't have to think too much about it. It's fucking good brain candy sci-fi stuff. And I find that there's this whole fucking mentality out there is if you like New Trek or Discovery or Picard or whatever, if you're into that shit, then you must automatically fucking hate the Orville. And I see that everywhere. And it's like, sometimes you will bring up the Orville to the wrong people. They're like, that fucking show. It's because they're not. It's like they're not hating the show. It's like they're hating the fans who call it Star Trek. It's almost like that. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not Star Trek. It's ripping off Star Trek. It's like they're mad at it because they see it as a Star Trek ripoff. When I look at it as like its own thing that tries to be its own thing, and has these idiots out there trying to say that it's Star Trek when it's not. And there's this
And-
division. It's like you can't like
and
both.
to
I'm
it-
like, you certainly can.
Yeah.
You certainly can like it all. It's like you don't have to fucking just
Yeah.
like The Expanse
And-
or just like this or just like that.
Yeah,
you
there's
can like
not-
all the shit. You know what I'm
and
saying?
Star Wars, you don't just to a degree, the Orville is a love letter
Yeah, it is. I mean,
to Star
yeah,
Trek,
I mean-
but sadly, I think the market that the Orville was like trying to, kind of occupy or go after the space. I think the Orville was responsible, like the creators of the Orville were kind of responsible for it. Like Seth MacFarlane did make a statement, I can't remember it word for word, about the reason he made the Orville is he kind of missed, and he directly references Star Trek, and he says he misses how Star Trek was a show that was like unfailingly optimistic and
Yes.
portrayed like a
It's one of the best qualities about it is that it's inspired by and it has that spirit of Star Trek, and that is
Star Trek,
certainly
right.
true. But
And-
this thing that always comparing it to something
Right.
you don't like, it's weird.
And that's where that came from, is like I think a lot of people like tuned into what he was saying about what inspired the Orville, and they were comparing it to Star Trek Discovery, and of course they're so dramatically different, like they're so different from one another. And so I think that's one of the challenges Star Trek Discovery actually had the Orville not existed, where you didn't have this like reminder of like used to be Star Trek, if you will,
Of real Star Trek?
of used to be Star Trek, if you will. Wow. Then maybe Discovery could have had a little bit of better chance of being accepted and stuff like that. But there was like an active thing where
That highlights the reasons why people were like, this is this is more Star Trek than Discovery.
right. They were
And-
using the Orville as a way of creating more
To be petty,
tension.
which
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
funny. It's
exactly.
like you love this show, but you're using it in like a negative context in an argument all the time for a show that you don't like. So like, why don't you just enjoy the fucking show? But here's the thing: like the show is, if you watch it, it is trying to carve its own path, and it did start out with it's a Star Trek tribute, and it does kind of rip off some episodes very blatantly. But that's the thing. You get into the second season. I'm not saying it's like dramatically better than the first season, but you can see how it's like trying to go down its own path. And apparently season 3 has like more mature stuff and longer episodes and like apparently a lot more money for some reason, because I think it moved from Fox to
it's gonna be
Hulu?
it's gonna be on Hulu. Yeah.
which would be
and
which would be Disney Plus here on Star.
It's gonna have 10 episodes, and the episodes are gonna be longer because it was on Hulu. But the only thing I wanted to say before PJ and Starfleet both took us on that lovely path of explaining what the hell is wrong with science fiction fans, it finally wrapped production. I like for me, I've been waiting forever for them to finally
Hallelujah, Jesus dropped the
finish
charges.
the show. I was like, okay, so now they can finally go into post-production, and maybe in a couple months we'll find out when the goddamn season is coming out. That's all I wanted to say.
Blue says the Orville is boring, but I still watch it. Interesting. I don't find it boring. I actually
I
like.
can't watch things that are boring. It bores me.
Well, I can understand like if you're like Ruben watches our show and is on it, and he's bored when he's on. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Yeah, pretty much all the time.
No, but I
Unless
can
we talk
understand.
about UFOs.
You missed that conversation. You were in a UFO. No, I'm just kidding. The Orville was. I would like to see what they do with the crazy like alternative universe thing, time travel plot that they contrived at the end. But it's had a lot of trouble. It's been like
It's been filming for 2 years.
yeah, but
Yeah,
it's the
it's been
pandemic
filming for
didn't
2
help, but like didn't it move from Fox to Hulu?
Yeah,
and,
Fox.
like-
Here's the thing with Fox.
Oh, Disney owns Fox and Hulu.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
interesting.
right.
Yeah, but for the longest, it's going to the same place anyway. But traditionally with Fox, before Disney took over, Fox would have a good show
Dude,
that was
cancel
like
it.
promising, and then it would say nope, and then they get rid of it.
Cancel it. Like Firefly. Hello.
I feel like Sci-Fi Channel does the same thing. thinking that like they didn't do enough justice to Dune. Darren, what's up, Darren Leston? And you got your you have PhD added to your title. I don't know if that was there before. Blue, it's not boring. It's trying to be Star Trek at Cheers bar. That's funny.
Yeah, I love Cheers. Cheers.
I love Cheers too. Oh my gosh, I'm starting to yawn. I think we're gonna have
Your
to.
way in the world, yeah, takes everything you got.
Making your way through all
Sure
your
would help a lot.
troubles. Sure would help a lot, or sure could. Yeah, wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you
No.
want to go
Sorry.
where everybody knows you're Orville.
Copyright strike.
I don't sing that good. I'm off
CBS
key.
Corporation.
They're never gonna do anything. I'm like off key. It's
Oh,
obvious.
Algorithm probably short circuited trying to figure
Yeah,
out.
trying to figure out what I was doing. Like,
Does not
it's
compute. Does not
yeah,
compute.
it's like
Creator.
creator. That's funny. Guys, I think 3 hours is good for tonight. I'm getting
We
super
gotta go.
sleepy.
Short episode tonight.
It's short. It's like a
3 hours.
it's like 3 hours. It was a 3
We
hour.
haven't even talked about
stream.
Lord's X.
Can we redo it? Because I don't like all the porn talk.
Wow, really?
It's like fuck my wife and all that coming her tits. What was that all about?
Oh my gosh.
I should
A
never have said
3
those
hour
things.
tour.
No. Actually, this is the first show that I'm actually considering not sharing tomorrow morning. But you know what? Fuck it. I like.
Wow.
No, I believe you should share it, but you should come with a warning. Don't play this around the house with
We're
the kids
talking
around.
about no kid should be watching this show. I have it the channel's restricted. So like if a kid's watching, it's because they're hacking and
No, I
it's
just
bad.
mean like just playing it around like out loud.
No, but
I don't
no,
think
but-
anyone
like
does
you
that.
got your windows
No.
open, people are walking by, they hear like
No, but
come on,
no,
what,
yeah.
come on her tits or something. Or I'm sorry, I said it again. I just ruined your whole channel.
No,
Yeah,
you
no,
didn't ruin it. It's fine.
Yeah, in all seriousness, when I share this out tomorrow,
come on.
I probably am gonna put like a little
I just wish
disclaimer at the top.
I just wish I had that locker room talk in me because I'd like to say some things about dudes, but I can't do it.
But
I'm too-
that's the sell.
Say
When
it,
people see a tweet where you're like, warning, explicit, they're gonna be like, "Whoa, I'm intrigued."
I should.
What were they talking about?
I am gonna put warning, explicit content, and frank discussion about porn. I'm just gonna put it right in there.
That's why I'm
So-
off camera most times here, because I don't want to be seen talking about this.
I thought that was a
I
very
remember
mature.
that party that a friend threw, of our mutual friend. I remember walking in. It was the infamous New Caledonia night where you were standing like this and standing like this.
Oh, I
Do you remember
So-
that party? Do you remember like what was happening inside
no, I don't
Goodness.
remember what was
on
happening
the
inside.
TV where there were people were watching porn, gay porn?
No, I don't remember that.
Oh my God, it was
That's
amazing.
probably that's crazy. I don't remember that, but I do remember. So this is when I was a teetotaler. I was straight edge, and I think some folks were experimenting with psychedelics at the party, and
Oh
I
my
thought
God.
I thought this was a great
Terrible
opportunity,
kind of people.
and I was not.
God.
I was sober at the time. I was like whatever straight edge, and I thought this could be so much fun, and I'm glad no one freaked out too much. But I I was like doing things like quantum things that we understand now because of quantum stuff, but I was like, guys, look, I'm standing here, but I'm also standing here, and they would like everyone simultaneously be like, oh my god, because they actually saw it. Like somehow I wish I knew how they saw it, and then I
Storytelling.
convinced them to huddle, and I told them that we were traveling through space to a new planet called New Caledonia, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun to be the dungeon master or game master of your trip. Since then, I have tried mushrooms in Amsterdam, where you can do them legally and it's regulated and it's safe. And it was a lot of fun to do it. I walked around Vondel Park and I could see things like capillaries and people's. I don't know if I was actually seeing them or if it was a hallucination, but it was a really awesome, extraordinary experience. But I do suggest that anyone who's interested in trying psychedelics do them in a place where it's regulated and legal, and that you can actually control the dosage so that you know what you're getting into. And I recommend having a guide, a person who's done it before, who's comfortable with it, to be with you at the time, which I was lucky enough to have as well. Well, it's a lot of disclaimers. I should have been a lawyer.
Can I before you go, can I just give a little update on Clerks 3?
Yes, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
It will be in both black and white and in color.
Oh.
The movies that the guys film in the movie will be in black and white, and it's called Inconvenience. And it's their version of Clerks. And Kevin Smith revealed there's a lot of us replicating the scenes that you know insanely well from Clerks. And the beautiful thing is that they're replicated with all the same people, and we're all so fucking old. It's funny because they're gonna be dramatizing what happened in the first movie, like recalling it and making a movie of that, which was the movie that Kevin said. It's weird. It's very meta, and it's gonna be interesting. It's a risky fucking premise, I think.
Interesting. Blue says, "Wow, LOL," and also, the porn talk was super mature, if explicit. That's a great way of describing it, Blue. Thank you. That's what I'm going to say in the description when I advertise it on Twitter. PJ, what have you got going on tomorrow? There's a 10 p.m. Continuation.
Tomorrow night at 10
tomorrow
p.m.
night.
Eastern Standard Time, DS9 commentary with PJ and Starfleet Boy.
Yep. Which episode are we doing tomorrow?
A Man
A
Alone.
Man Alone.
I'm glad I wasn't a man alone doing the commentary.
Yeah.
And Marcelo, you should do some commentaries with me too for DS9.
Oh no! Seriously, if you ever
if you like that show, I don't know.
No, if you ever want me to do a commentary on any Star Trek show, just let me know and I'll hop on and I'll do a commentary with you. It'll be my pleasure to do that.
That would be good because I did want. I've been all Starfleet Boy. And
Yeah,
I did one with
variety is the
Geek.
spice of life. Yeah.
I'm gonna do one with Sean. Ruben, if you can hear me, you can join me too.
DS9 commentary. Ruben would be totally down. It's a show he loves.
No, but I
what's
I love
DS9?
DS9,
Is that-
so
They're on season 1.
Is that like a Star Trek show?
Yeah, that's
oh,
funny.
shut up. No, I love DS9. So if you ever need somebody for a DS9 episode, and you have nobody on the face of the planet, I'm your guy.
The next one I have.
Man.
The next one I have to record is. I won't give it away. Anyway, check it out live tomorrow night, 10 p.m.
Check it out, everybody.
I'm your man.
Click like and subscribe.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Marcelo, what's going on in your corner of the digital world?
Yeah, well, as always, I have 2 podcasts. One of them is called Radio 815. It's a podcast all about the Bad Robot universe and J.J. Abrams TV shows. And I have another podcast called The Red Wall Podcast, which is a personal podcast all about my life and the interviews that I have with people. And I'm in conversations right now to interview a specific person that I'm very excited to talk to about the way that he structures stories. So if that interview comes through and it happens, I will be very, very excited to release it sometime next year. So I'm really excited to talk to this individual.
What's the latest release available about? What's your latest episode?
Yeah, my latest episode. What on which podcast? Because I have two.
Both of them. Just both of your give a little brief synopsis or whatever.
We on Radio 815 we're talking about Lost season 3, and on my personal podcast I just did an episode about gratitude and how you treat people in your life, who help you out.
That's cool. And that was recorded a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. He's a year ahead on his podcast. So
Yes. Oh, and you're coming up next year too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You're scheduled to.
On my birthday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's so cool. Because unless you bumped me back because you had to bump. Okay, that episode's still airing. Okay, cool.
I didn't bump him. He's still there.
I can't believe I know your year from now schedule. That's crazy. But the gratitude one really interests me. I'm gonna go listen to it because I try to practice gratitude. I think it's very important to do that no matter how expressive you are of your gratitude. It's always good to practice more gratitude. So I'm going to check it out and listen to that one. Thank you.
And if I could just also mention, I also have a YouTube channel. It's Balloon Head Productions.
Yes, that's right. By the way, I saw you in the chat the other day and I was trying to highlight you and say hi, but we were carried away with I don't always get to do I'm not as good always. So thanks for coming in. That was cool that you listened.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, I will. Well, I wanted to know what you thought about Lower Decks, and I knew that we were possibly going to talk about it on Starfleet After Dark. But I know that on Starfleet After Dark, we kind of get crazy. So I wanted your unfiltered, more professional.
Well, that's more of a reaction. But by the way, if you're available at the time, we'll talk more about it offline. But you're also welcome to come on those discussions.
Thank you.
So we'll talk about that.
you.
Cool. So what's going on over there on Balloonhead Productions?
Well, right now I am actually guesting all over the place. So every time that I'm on an episode of Starfleet Boy, I have this playlist on my channel that has all my guest appearances.
Oh, right on.
So
Thank you.
every time I guest on a show, yours or what or who, every time I guest on any place on the internet that has a YouTube channel, I place the videos in that playlist. But pretty soon, I'm gonna start up my reviews for Mission Impossible and Smallville again. I have to get
very
those
cool.
done before I do anything else.
Very cool. Look forward
That's
to
it.
it. Ruben, what's new?
What's new?
What are you promoting? What have you got going? Ruben-Writes.com, Pop Axiom. What's your what
Pop
composer have you
Axiom.org.
recently interviewed?
Let's see. My last interview was I recently interviewed Ryan Brett Puckett, who's a production designer for a movie on Shudder called The Boy Behind the Door. I interviewed a composer, David Steinberg, who did. I think I mentioned that one last time. The Catch and Kill podcast. Oh, I had interviewed the cinematographer from Grownish. You know that show Grownish? It's a spin-off of Blackish.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, so I interviewed
Watch
the
out, world,
cinematographer.
I'm grown now. That's a song from the show.
Yeah, I interviewed the cinematographer who's got a couple Emmy nominations for that show.
There's also another spin-off called Mixed-ish, which
Mixed-ish.
got canceled.
And
wow.
yes, so popaxiom.com, rootmorg.com, ruben-rights.com. Anyone else who wants to pay me.com.
Don't forget Return to Tomorrow.
Turn to tomorrow.
I just want to also give a shout out to a Star Trek.
Did you mention Return to Tomorrow? Is that tomorrow or today?
No, tomorrow's episode. Sorry, tomorrow's episode. TOS season 2.
Return to Tomorrow.
Is it to Return? I thought it was Patterns of Force.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Hold on, let me just check. Hold on.
Maybe
hold on.
I haven't kept track.
It is Return to Tomorrow. Thank you. I should know. I'm gonna rewatch it today because I don't remember. I think I skipped it and watched.
Now you have to return to that episode. Oh.
Yeah, what is that episode?
Hey
Hold on.
ho.
Return to Tomorrow is the episode. Oh yes, no, of course I've seen that recently. That's the episode with Diana Muldaur and yes,
They
I'm very
become
excited.
possessed.
Yeah,
or
they
whatever.
become possessed by those spherical entities
Yeah.
that are like billions of years old or whatever, and Spock is like a Loki character, basically. Yeah. Okay, cool. Very exciting. That's tomorrow at 3 p.m. But I just wanted to say also that sadly, Star Trek, I learned about, I didn't know who Bill Burke was, but they, a bunch of Star Trek folks that are in the industry in Star Trek posted about him dying at the age of 55 just a few days ago. And he was the licensing chief for Star Trek. So basically anything anything that's been licensed, Bill Burke had something to do with the approval of that licensing. So any Star Trek thing that you've enjoyed, like your starships or your uniforms or whatever that was licensed officially, went through this man. So he touched our lives. So he's a pretty cool and important person. And sad to hear that he passed away. So yeah. Another great Trekkie person gone to the great
He's
bird of
55
the
years
galaxy.
old.
Yeah, 55 years old. That's pretty young. I'm not too far from that age, so that's kind of It's very young, in my opinion. I'm old, but that's young. Anyways, so rest in power, rest in peace, Bill Burke. So live long and prosper, everybody.
There's one thin motherfucking dime.
That's a great way to end it.
Beautiful Connor Trenier picture.
Connor Trenier pictures for a dime.